Ihr seht, wir haben volles Haus. Mir war ein bisschen nach Drama heute im Trailer, aber ich finde, das passt auch zum Phoenix, so, zu Teeling. Egal, ist ja mein Trailer, von daher wurscht. Ja, für alle, die heute zugucken und die Tastings kennen, wir machen es heute ein bisschen anders. Wir machen Deutsch und Englisch und wir machen die Samples hintereinander. Ihr wisst nicht, was es ist, aber wir lösen nach jedem Sample auf, sodass Christian uns dann dazu jeweils was erzählen kann. So, before we start, everyone needs to say who he is. Chris, if you want to. I mean, you are the most important person today.
I love that if you ask me if I want to. Yeah, absolutely. So I am the European brand ambassador for Teeling whiskey, representing the company now for about 6.5 years. And I work throughout all of Europe, spending a lot of my time in Germany. So very, very honored and pleased to be here with all you this evening.
Great. And then Sebastian, you are next.
Hi.
Yay!
Ich bin Sebastian. Und
Danke,
ich hab's geschafft. Ich stehe nicht mehr im Stau.
Yay! Woo!
War heute alles ein bisschen knapp.
Aber schön, dass du es geschafft hast. Freut mich.
Ja.
So, jetzt haben wir jemanden, den kennt ihr schon vom... Ich weiß nicht, er war auf jeden Fall schon mal dabei und hat immer die bösen Wörter gesagt. Geil!
Ja, gute Einführung, so kann man es auch sagen. Ich freue mich auf jeden Fall trotzdem noch mal eingeladen worden zu sein, auch wenn wir Hollys Livestream damals wirklich hart an die Grenze...
echt hart gecrashed.
Ja. Aber vielleicht ist diesmal etwas besser.
Schauen wir mal. Ja, ihr hört schon die Stimme, die so hämisch lacht.
Ja, ich wurde einfach hier reingeschmissen. Ich habe zu Holly gesagt, Holly, du weißt, Tastings auf Englisch ist nicht so meins, ne, weil funktioniert nicht so gut, aber ich bin trotzdem heute hier, wird lustig, glaube ich, habe richtig Bock und freue mich darauf.
Das sind schöne Worte. Und wen wir dabei haben, ich glaube, bei mir ist es eine absolute Premiere, der mit dabei ist, das ist nämlich Wasser und Malz. Der Olli.
Hi, Noel. I'm very proud today. I've been Irish. Ja, heute mal einen irischen Abend zu erleben. Ich habe noch nicht allzu viel mit Iren im Glas gehabt, aber ich bin
dann
sehr
bist du hier richtig. Und was mich auch sehr freut, obwohl er ein Sample zerbrochen hat, ich war so traurig, wo er mir das geschrieben hat, unser Volkerpedia! Woohoo!
Hallo. Ja, also leider fehlt bei mir Nummer 4, aber ich habe gedacht, ich mache trotzdem mit.
Shame on
Und Teeling ist meine bevorzugte Distillerie in Irland, war schon zweimal da und bin gespannt, was jetzt Holly uns so hier kredenzt.
Ich auch. So Volker just said that he has visited Teeling like twice and that's his favorite Irish distillery. And he broke sample 4.
Yeah.
So shame on him. Shame on him.
I can't tell you anything about 4. No.
Nice.
Shame on you. Alright, before we start, just let's say hello to
Jetzt werde ich schon übergangen, also jetzt. Ich wollte gerade fragen,
Nein!
Ich gehe wieder raus.
Nicht mehr erkannt.
Man weiß nicht, wer du bist.
Okay, es ist, weil ich ihn nicht mehr erkannt habe. Oh mein Gott, hätte ich ihn fast vergessen. Manu, oh mein Gott.
Ja, Manuel from the Whiskey Waiter. Also ihr erkennt mich wahrscheinlich kaum. Komme gerade vom Barbier, habe schon die ersten Vorbereitungen für mein Halloween-Kostüm gemacht. Also von daher, ja, in etwas ungewohnter Form. Meine Frau hasst mich gerade etwas.
Ja, und ich habe dich übersehen, wie du siehst. So sorry, Manuel.
Ja, ich merke mir das.
Auch der Whiskey Waiter hier.
Ja, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Kann ich aufhören, immer hinzugucken?
Oh, guck mal direkt in die Kommentare, da muss jemand geschmissen werden.
Oh nein.
Wer?
Wer ist der Moderator? Oh, I hate those.
Du.
Nee, aber...
Ich bin auch Moderator. Warte, ich gehe dann mit rein.
Super, danke. Ich habe es jetzt geblockt. Okay, so before we start, now, let's say hello to the guys in the chat. Sorry, Manu. So, Manu, you are already here. I can see that. Flurp says more Teeling. No, more feeling for Teeling. Hello und Servus. Ja, dir auch ein schönes Hallo. Der Warfinato ist dabei. Hello. Hidden Barrel ist dabei. Moin moin again. Looking forward to have a fun evening. Oh, I'm pretty sure we do have a fun evening. We already had fun with the cocktail. As you can see, I'm already wet. So, that's going to be pretty nice. Abi ist da und er sagt wieder auf Englisch. Nee, Abi, Deutsch und Englisch. Wir machen simultan. Das passt. Rüdiger ist am Start und sagst, only whiskey, no milk? Ja. That was because we had a espresso martini before. And Sasha was like, oh, you can put milk into it, so for like breakfast. And I was like, okay, why not? And it was not too bad. It was okay. But it looks very crazy, so yeah, that's why he wore that. Tweety ist dabei, hallo in die Runde. Er hat ein Tasting Set, gut, dass es dabei ist. Boris ist dabei, and he says, hello again, greetings from Denmark. Oh, Boris, bist noch da? Wie lange? Wasser und Malz ist dabei. Abi sagt, Milk and Holly oder Milk and Honey. Etwas überfordert. Hidden Barrel ist auch dabei, leider ohne Set, muss sich mit Ayla begnügen und ist zumindest auch von einer Insel. Ja, das stimmt wohl. Guter Vorsatz ist er sagt, hello again. Tim Dampflauderer ist dabei. Hessen Ranger ist dabei, Arm zusammen, kommt kurz als Soundgast dazu, hat einen 10er Bushmills im Glas, der einzige ihre im Haus. So that's his only Irish whiskey he has is the Bushmills 10. We need to change that. We really need to change that. Yeah, it could be worse, true, but yeah. There are so many delicious Irish whiskeys, so that's a shame just to have the Bushmills. And let me check. Sven ist mit dabei. Hallo zusammen, jetzt ohne Milch. Ja. Vielen Dank, Boris. Johann ist am Start. Flirp sagt auch, oh, wie episch. Hat jetzt lustig an einem Freiheiten zu beteiligen. Blicke. Finde ich gut. Florian ist dabei. Hidden Barrel sagt noch, wie Englisch. Ich habe extra Irish trainiert. Okay, Hidden Barrel, so let's talk Irish. I have no idea and I'm not sure if Chris knows Irish, but okay. Chris, yeah, Marcel ist mit dabei, guten Abend und good evening. Ralf ist dabei aus der Pfalz. Teeling, meine Lieblingsdistillerie in Irland. So, one of his favorite distilleries in Ireland as well. We have a lot of Teeling lovers. I have the feeling about that. That's pretty good.
Great stuff.
Darker Tasting. Ja, stimmt, genau. Da ist der Flip auch mit dabei, aber das regeln wir später. Muss man zu asking if Manuel needs to go to the army because he had no beard anymore and he was bearded like crazy. So that's really fun to see.
My first time without a beard in 9 years.
Yeah, crazy. It's so weird. It's really yeah.
Going for a 15-year-old boy for Halloween.
It is. I told him you look like 18 or something like that and not like over 30. I mean, no, you are younger, Manu. That's fine. Und wirst du Mr. Proper zu Halloween.
Sascha kann nicht mehr.
Aber Rüdiger hat den besten Kommentar geschrieben. Wirklich.
Ja, Rüdiger, siehst du, Manu, du wirst gezeigt und direkt beautiful.
Ja.
Steven ist mit am Start, auch dabei. Warte, ich muss jetzt mal durchscrollen. Boris ist bis morgen in Dänemark. Urlaub ist leider dann schon wieder vorbei. Und Thilo sagt, mit einem Teeling Stout Class starten. So you will start with the Teeling Stout. Could be worse. I like the Teeling one. Awesome. All right, and I think we got everyone. Hi, Sven. I think I didn't miss anyone. So, okay. So, the house is full. We have a full house today, which is really nice. And, Freunde, wir machen das so. Wir starten pro Sample. Das heißt, wir machen direkt riechen und verkosten in einem und danach lösen wir auf, damit Chris was dazu sagen kann. So Chris, as we already talk to each other, we do sample by sample and after each sample we do the solution, what it is. Okay, ansonsten ist es das Gleiche. Eure Notes. Wäre geil, wenn ihr die in den Chat schreibt. Und wir bleiben bei 1 bis 6. Die Reihenfolge steht fest. Außer Volker, der macht nur 1, 3, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3,
6. Ich habe die 2 vergessen, stimmt. Genau, aber und Kai hat auch ein Sample weniger, weil Kai hat nämlich unser Club-Tasting verpasst, weil die Post einen Tag zu spät war. Und darum ist Kai jetzt dabei.
Mir fehlt tatsächlich auch Sample 4.
Ja, dir fehlt auch, stimmt, dir fehlt auch Sample 4. Kannst du dich mit Volker zusammentun?
Das Mysteriöse.
The Mysterious Sample 4.
Da war Redbreast 12 Fassstärke drin, deswegen.
Stimmt. Okay, also sonst wie immer, haut eure Tasting Notes in den Chats. Stellt alle Fragen, die ihr wollt, an Chris. So Chris, I hope you will get a lot of questions about Teeling. Also haut die Fragen raus, wir übersetzen gerne. Ich habe genug Leute, die Englisch hier können. Ansonsten Deutsch, Englisch, mir egal, wie ihr schreibt oder redet. Ja, und ansonsten noch Fragen? Any questions? Nein, dann würde ich sagen, wir legen los. We start with sample number 1. Flip like always. Ja, bitte.
Ich fühle mich gemobbt hier.
Ach Quatsch, wie kommst du denn da drauf?
Zu Recht.
Das passiert, wenn man seinen Bart abrasiert.
So, guter Vorsatz is asking if I am allowed to sell the Teeling blank pairs. I'm not sure. Can you? Oh yeah, you can buy them from your distillery online shop.
The Teeling ones, yeah, you can, and they also have some nice black nose glasses, which are quite good for blind tastings like this evening. As you can see, I'm being very classy and Irish, drinking straight from the bottle.
Straight from the simple bottle.
Very Irish.
You'll have to excuse me. I've just come from a 4.5-hour drive from Dingle, so this is a very, very welcome sight to have a whiskey first thing when you get home.
But Dingle is a nice area, so
beautiful. Yeah, absolutely stunning.
And Sebastian was also standing in the traffic jam because of not an exercise, accident. Yeah. So he just made it in a minute, so that's pretty good. But is it that far from Dublin to Dingle?
Yeah, well, it depends if you make stops or not. So we made a couple of stops, but it was 4.5 hours.
Awesome. And thanks a lot that you then take your time here with us on YouTube. That's pretty cool.
No, absolutely. I couldn't think of a better way to start a bank holiday weekend.
Do you have the bank holiday as well? So Christian, yes. Wir haben auch Feiertag.
Yeah,
is it Halloween or is it another one?
What's that? Yeah, it's Halloween. Well, I think most people just treat it as Halloween, but on Monday we get a bank holiday. So
nice. We got it on Tuesday. Oh, some regions in Germany have Monday and the others on Tuesday. So that's pretty cool.
We have Mondays. It's Reformation Day on Monday.
Oh, so you are in the you're in the north of Germany. That's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
But only Saxony actually has an official day off at this time. Everyone else is actually supposed to work as it's supposed for good Protestant.
I got to work on Tuesday though.
Eine Runde Mitleid für Kai. So there's another question to Chris. When Teeling will be ready to buy the Midden distillery, asking for a friend.
I almost spat out my whiskey. That was a fantastic question. Yeah, the short answer is it's going to take a long time. We're now just producing around 500,000 litres. So we're at half capacity. We're available in 70 international markets. It's a product that obviously is gone from strength to strength each year, right? You know, we've now won over 400 international accolades, including best single malt in the world and best single pot still in the world. But at the end of the day, we're still a small craft distillery. So it'll be a while yet, I think. Great to see a shout out of some other Irish whiskies as well. It's good to see that it's on people's radars.
That's true. And Ralph is asking what the history about the Phoenix on the bottles.
Oh, yeah. So the Phoenix essentially embodies two different things as part of Teeling's, I suppose, branding. So the first and foremost is that Teeling is a brand that is very passionate about experimentation. So we really want to change the image of Irish whiskey and try to challenge consumers on how they think and how they talk about Irish whiskey. And we do that by innovating on really every single stage of the whiskey process. So the Phoenix kind of represents the modern era of Irish whiskey, you know, rising out of the ashes of something old into something new. But it also embodies this idea of reviving Irish whiskey. You know, for any of you who are big Irish whiskey fans who are tuning in this evening, you may or may not know that only 100 years ago, or a little bit further back in the 18th and 19th century, Irish whiskey was actually one of the most sold spirits in the world, represented nearly 70% of global whiskey sales. So with Teeling, we're looking to bring back that culture, bring back that heritage, and kind of kickstart this new movement of Irish whiskey. And that's what the Phoenix is all about.
I like that. And with the new bottles, no, I can't show right now because then the guys would know what it is. But I like the engraving bottles now that you have like the new design from, I think, 2 or 3 years now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so you'll see on the back of the bottles an embossed phoenix to kind of indicate any whiskey that's now been distilled in Dublin. The distillery is based. So yeah, also makes a very cool tattoo for any of you who are.
Sure. Oh, Rüdiger said I just when I ordered something, I got the pretty cool cap from last year. I think like Christmas around, and he says I should wear it. I'm thinking where it is.
No, it was from the Ukraine bottling, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it was. Correct, Manu. You have the same. Oh, we need to wear both then. You have that as well.
Yeah, mine is too small for this little round head.
Ich guck gleich mal, wo ich sie habe. Ich guck gleich mal, dass ich sie finde. Da müsst ihr mal kurz 5 Minuten ohne mich, aber das passt schon. Tom fragt noch, Chris, is the miniature Lego distillery still showcased at the distillery? Oh,
yeah, it is. So that was something we did. It was a nice, actually, little touch where we, for our 7th anniversary as a fully functional distillery, we decided to build a Teeling replica of a Lego distillery, which, you know, anybody who's into whiskey and into Lego, it's kind of a match made in heaven. We have actually a miniature figure of our master distiller, master blender, Alex Chasko, in the distillery. So please, by all means, send Lego figures to Teeling Whiskey Distillery in the post, and we'll try and find a place for each and every one of you. They've still yet to find a place for me. I'll be on a little Lego plane somewhere, you know, traveling around with a glass of whiskey. But yeah, we still have it in our distillery.
Cool. Do you know and any plans how long it will stay there? Oh, sorry, Kai. Go for it.
Since I'm somewhat of a Lego fan, just asking, do you know how many pieces were used for this showcase?
Pieces? That is a very good question. The short answer is actually I don't. I know that it was a small collaboration that we did with a company called Dublin Bricks. We also did a miniature version, which I know was about 230 pieces. And they were something that we did as kind of a gifting thing for people on the birthday celebration for Teeling. But the actual full-scale replica, I would say it would be close to, you know, somewhere between 500 to 800 pieces. It's quite impressive. If you ever get a chance to see it, it has the stills in there. So our 3 copper pot stills, Alison, Natalie, and Rebecca, which are the names of our 3 stills. It has our washbacks. It even has our bar, which is up on the 3rd floor of the distillery. And they've even like little Lego cobwebs in the ceilings. So it's a lot of attention to detail. If you get a chance, definitely Google it. Have a look, Teeling Whiskey Lego Distillery, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's very, very cool. The only disappointing thing is that we can't all get our hands on one. I think we could easily sell just as much of the Lego Distillery as we could of our whiskey.
Yeah, I guess so.
So we already have some notes. The note is very delicious with a little bit of apple. Ja, gehe ich voll mit. Sasha, you also have like peach and caramel, but also a little bit of apple. And Evat's has like shortbread, yeast, gooseberry, and vanilla. I like those notes.
Yeah. And at the very beginning, I had a grassy note that was replaced by some spicy notes. And then I had apricot, full flavor apricot. Yeah.
I can totally understand that. It's very fruity. I really like that.
And it's sweet. At first I had this this fresh cut wood I always get with Irish whiskies, and that dissipated and made room for vanilla and some cereal and then the fruit notes.
I would so stay for overnight there if you got a bed and breakfast over in the house.
So we've an unofficial version of that where you bring your sleeping bag and you sleep in the distillery.
Oh, I will. I will do that next year.
That was a joke. That was not an invitation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
But everyone heard it.
It's on the internet now.
Yeah. It's very interesting, though, to see, in particular, the gooseberry note is something that I'm quite enjoying. So one thing that I personally get from this first whiskey is a lot of forest fruits, a lot of like blueberries, a lot of citrus fruits as well. Things like either grapefruit or even mandarin oranges is something that I smell quite often. And of course, that heavy like apricot, pear, apple is definitely in there.
And we also have like roses from Ollie. Really like that. I think I had that before.
I think I smell a little bit of roses.
Yeah.
Roses. Yeah. Does have that kind of floral quality to it as well. Definitely.
Yeah.
I can see that.
All right, guys. Then I would say let's start with the first sip of tonight, or the second one for the And thank you all that you're joining the chat. Oh, Kai is like, okay.
Kanpai.
And thanks a lot, Chris, that you're taking the time. And thanks to you other guys. I think it will be a nice evening. Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Chris, Tom will be in Dublin next weekend. Are there any new single cask bottlings at the distillery I should try?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're actually coming at a perfect time, Tom, because we've just released a new distillery exclusive single cask that was only out on Wednesday. So literally fresh on the shelf. It's a 17-year-old single malt that has matured in cognac for a long maturation period. So it's actually close to a double maturation as opposed to a finish. I believe it's in the high 50s, so 50, I want to say 51, 52% ABV. And of course, being a single cask, you're looking at a small bottle run, but I've tried it there the other day when I was in the distillery. It's absolutely fantastic. If not, if you want something that's a bit of a staple at Teeling in our distillery, if you've never been, we have a fill your own system. So you come and there's 2 barrels in our gift shop. The barrel on the left currently is a single pot still whiskey, fully matured in Bordeaux red wine. Again, cask strength, which I know is something that often is nice to take away from a distillery. And then the one on the right-hand side is actually a 23-year-old single malt matured in rum casks. Both fantastic, both very different as well. So they're kind of the 3, the current ones we have at the moment that are distillery exclusives. Aside from one other, which is a personalized distillery exclusive that's actually matured in chinkapin, which is kind of an unusual style of oak that we're using for some of our blended whiskey currently.
Tom, if you are there, just bring me a bottle, bit, please. So there's another question concerning the Teeling Stout cask. Flop is asking there was a cooperation with the Galway brewery, if he's correct. By research, he cannot find any information. They have a traditional Irish dry stout, OMG. Is it maybe imperial stout or milk stout? Do you know that?
Well, first and foremost, I love the fact that you went out and did research. It's great. And the short answer is it's matured in imperial stout. So this is actually probably one of my favorite collaborations.
Ist es noch beim Nico oder ist Chris weg?
He's gone.
Ist weg.
Okay. Das hatten wir beim Club auch schon, ne? Back again?
Chris is back.
Did you lose me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I moved. But yeah, so as I was saying, this is probably one of my favorite collaborations because it was one of the first cask exchanges we did with another producer. This whiskey, of course, is part of a series of Teeling whiskey called the Small Batch Collaborations, where we send our whiskey barrels to many, many different producers around the world. They make their own products matured in our whiskey barrels, and then we do the reverse. So the beer that they made, it was called 200 Fathoms. Absolutely beautiful barrel-aged imperial stout. It's about 10.6% ABV. So like you could probably really only have 1 or 2 and you're kind of done. But it's a great Christmas release. So it's one they bring out every year. I normally go down to my local off license and pick up a bottle, and it's a seasonal release. And we matured our small batch, so our premium blend matured in these beer barrels for about 12 months in total.
And I love that as well. And they are, as you mentioned, they are doing great stuff of beer. I really love them.
Yes. If you ever get your hands on the beer, it's fantastic. So it's called the 200 Fathoms. And it's an imperial stout.
Also wenn ihr die Chance habt, von der Galway Brewery was zu kriegen, gerade diese Saisonabfüllung, greift zu, die ist wirklich lecker. Andreas, hallo, wir sind bei Sample 1 gerade geschmacklich, weil wir trinken heute direkt danach, damit Chris auflösen kann. Tom is already also saying, nice, I guess I have to bring 2 suitcases. Yeah, maybe you should.
I'll tell you what, send me a message on Instagram and I'll happily give you a load of recommendations, or better still, I can maybe sort you out with an Irish coffee in the distillery.
Yes, that's great. Also Tom schreibt Chris auf jeden Fall, vielleicht kriegst du noch eine coole Tour. Andreas, jetzt riechen und direkt verkosten, weil wir heute nach jedem Sample auflösen, damit ich was sagen kann. Apropos, welche Notes habt ihr denn im Geschmack? What notes do you have in the palette? Bleibt ihr bei dem Gefühl?
Yeah,
Süß vor allen Dingen.
Okay, yeah.
It's
So I have
sweet,
some
creamy.
cereal sweetness.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Volker first, Sebastian after.
Okay, all right. So I have some cereal sweetness, some woody spiciness, and there's some fruit, but it's not so dominant. It's more in the background. So the spiciness for me is very strong. Yeah.
It's almost creamy. Had a little fruit, lots of vanilla, and it's almost like a powdered sugar candy fruitiness.
I have creme brulee again, like on Monday. I don't know where it comes from, but I love that feeling. Really great mouth feeling.
Wird ein bisschen trocken hinten raus, ne?
It's getting dry, yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a surprising amount of wood in the taste, which I indeed would have not expected. I am totally in agreement with Wikipedia at this point. Really dry, spicy, definitely some oak spice, which I certainly would not have expected, judging from the nose. But it's a welcome surprise. I really like this. I really like the spin on it.
Yeah, and I also have that, and in combination with like pineapple and a little bit of peach, so you have a great balance between those spiciness and a little bit of fruitiness.
And I have a bit of grassy notes.
Ja, kann ich nachvollziehen. Noch mehr Meldungen, aber wir haben, glaube ich, alles gut weit abgedeckt. Habt ihr denn eine Vermutung, was es ist? Any guesses what it could be?
I have no idea what bottles there are, so nope.
I mean, it's a blind tasting, so.
So we all have no idea. Surprise.
Yay, correct.
I do, but full disclosure, I had some hints before, so I shouldn't be part of this one.
But would you have guessed it if you wouldn't know it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
if you would have guessed it without knowing the information, then just go for it.
Because it is pretty much the only Teeling I had drunk before.
Yeah.
Ja, Schlussquamperfekt, ganz gut.
Grammar is not that important tonight.
Yes, it's the only Teeling I had the pleasure to drink before, and so I recognize this one. Yeah, and that's actually amazing. That's so recognizable.
That's true. So just let us know. Kai, come on.
Oh, it's the small batch.
Correct. Was mit den anderen? Hättet ihr das vermutet?
Nö. Und ich habe noch eine Buddel davon hier.
So Sasha has a bottle of it at home and he didn't recognize it. Shame on you. So we have.
I know the feeling.
Shame.
Shame, like what was the series? Game of Thrones. Yes, true. So Chris, would you like to tell us something about? I mean, you can try if the present button is working. I'm not sure if it will work, but otherwise just go for it and tell us something about the small batch if you want to.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Let me see if I can try and share my screen. If not, I'll jump straight into it. Okay, allow. I'm assuming you can see that currently, can you?
Yes.
Yes. Although I just realized I better not show the rest of the whiskies, which I nearly just did.
No one has seen it.
That was a fairly great start to.
We are all learning with that platform, so it's good that it's working at all, at least.
Yeah, I was going to say I feel like it's been about a year since I've used StreamYard. It is. But yes. So anyway, to jump into it, it is our Teeling small batch. It's our flagship whiskey that, of course, was released at the very beginning in around 2015. This is a product for me, I think, that's very much sets the tone for what Teeling is all about. So it's really, the cornerstone of innovation. It's a product that's now between 60 to 70 markets that it's available. Not only that, but this is actually a whiskey, love it or hate it. This is a whiskey that makes up approximately about 60% of our sales in Europe. So it is an incredibly great, value for money whiskey. It's one that I personally drink, on kind of a regular basis. Works very well, not only drinking it neat, but also in the likes of cooking and cocktails. And where this whiskey kind of started off was we decided that we wanted to make a blended Irish whiskey, but something that kind of stood out from the crowd, something that just wasn't another reiteration of these well-established Irish blended whiskies that we already know. So the idea was kind of to elevate the image of Irish blended whiskey, take away a bit of the stigma around the word blend. I know for some people, blend kind of has this negative connotation. And we really wanted to make something premium, something high quality, but at an affordable price point. So where that started off was taking that traditional base of 3 parts corn, 1 part barley, aging it in bourbon barrels for a total of 6 years, which is typically going to give you a lot of that sweetness that anybody picked up on. So the vanillas and toffees and caramel, but also a little bit of the oak spice, the ginger and the dryness and a little bit of that inherent allspice. And after the 6 years in bourbon, it's transferred into Central American rum casks. So this for us was really, our staple for the brand. It's something that we felt worked incredibly well from the get-go, and also something that we've experimented with in terms of different styles of rum really every single year. And it's something I think that really separated us from other Irish blended whiskies back in 2015. The last thing to note is it's bottled at 46% ABV. So generally speaking, when we talk about Irish whiskey, we necessarily think of things that are matured in bourbon, port, or sherry. And normally speaking, a lot of Irish whiskey within that category, within blended whiskey, would be historically bottled at 40%. So that extra 6% mightn't seem like a huge amount, but it's carrying through all that wonderful character of the whiskey, the esters, the fatty acids, the texture, and really giving you that very full, very thick mouthfeel for this first whiskey.
Ja, also nochmal kurz zusammengefasst. Small Batch ist in Bourbon gereift und wurde dann in Rumcast nochmal nachgereift und hat 46%, das wisst ihr alle. Und dadurch hat man halt diese Spices, also die Gewürze, Holznoten und was wir sonst noch im Geschmack hatten. So the Small Batch one is like the most sold one worldwide or just in Germany?
No, worldwide. Yeah, so mostly in Europe now, as I said, it would make up about 60% of our sales. But worldwide, it is one of our most sought after products. Not only that, but it's also now become our control spirit in a lot of our experimentation. So for example, if we're sending our whiskey barrels to any producer around the world, be that a brewery or a distillery or, a wine producer, it's typically the small batch that we're using. The reason being is that it allows us to kind of learn more about our product if we have some sort of a control base. And it's also anybody coming to the distillery, it also makes an absolutely banging Irish coffee. Obviously, rum and coffee, 2 flavors that are just work so well together.
Ja, also der Small Batch ist auch so ein bisschen die Kontrollspirituose beziehungsweise die Basis für den Rest, damit man halt sich auch weiterentwickeln kann und weiß, ob es was Gutes ist. Und es ist ein super Irish Coffee, dafür ist es auch geeignet. Kann ich nur bestätigen, I think we had the Irish Coffee one last year as well.
Yes, we had you're right. We had like a cocktail tutorial online for Christmas. We did. You're right.
Yes, we did. And I think it's nearly 1 year ago or 2 years now on the YouTube channel. I'm not sure, but I think it's like 1 or 2 years where we had the stream together as well.
Okay, do you know it's completely slipped my mind that we did that. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you've been my first live stream when I started, so it's like 2 years ago.
No right way. Yes, I feel very honored. I was the guinea pig, obviously.
Yes. All right, guys. Fertig für Sample 2? Ready to go to Sample 2?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah?
Yo.
Okay. Yo.
Yo,
also,
da.
Sample 2 jetzt. Was hast
Let's
du
get more wood.
More wood?
Ich habe auch nicht Joghurt gesagt.
Hast du Joghurt gesagt? Was?
Ich habe gesagt, dat.
Okay. So, Sebastian, you've got more wood in the nose.
Yeah, that's more. It is more woody to me.
Yeah,
than the first
and
one.
it is a darker wood. Like,
yeah, it's almost. I almost get a chocolate note.
Yeah.
Ja. Aber habt ihr keine grapes? I also have like grapes, the darks and then the bright ones.
Ich habe Pflaume.
Plums.
Pflaumenkompott.
Okay, interesting. So we're on the dark side now. Like everyone has dark fruits.
Yeah, and some like roasty notes, or like stewed fruits that burnt a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Habe ich euch das richtige Sample abgefüllt?
Keine Ahnung, vielleicht, du lachst bestimmt, weil es ist wahrscheinlich Weißwein-Finish.
I do agree on the grape part, but somehow it's those red grapes and the hull of the grapes, not the grape itself. Oh god, I don't know how it's called in English.
Skin.
I would have to look it up.
Grape skins.
The skin of the grape, yeah, perhaps something like this.
Chris, how do you say in English the skin of a grape?
Yes.
Or is it the skin of a grape?
Skin. Grape skin.
Grape skin, really? Okay.
Good.
Yeah, that's it. The skin of a red grape.
Ja, get it. Aber habt ihr auch so ein bisschen was Trockenes? I also have like something dry.
Yeah, the wood is very dry. Like the dark wood is very dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, peel, yeah, maybe. Was sagt ihr, wie viel Prozent hat er? Like ABV?
Nicht viel mehr als der erste, glaube ich.
Yeah, so Sasha is thinking that the ABV is not so much more than the first. I would agree. Aber ich weiß es auch.
We'll see on the taste.
Aha, is this a hint to taste?
A subtle note for you.
Got no time.
Why do you... Hä? Warum?
Na?
Oh, we also have chocolate and mint note.
Mint.
There's a kind of fresh note in there.
Yeah,
Is it
definitely
like
kind of mental.
Yeah, true. But I like the nose. It's very interesting. Okay, Sebastian already wants to try it, so I would say let's.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Slange, guys.
Slange.
Ooh.
Oh, that's ginger.
Ginger.
Ginger and orange.
Yeah, like candied ginger, yeah, not fresh ginger. Like
yeah, can get that. It's a little bit sweet because of that. Yeah.
But the ginger spiciness, that's so light, prickly on the tongue.
And I do get some very dominant woody notes that to me give the impression of being in a whiskey warehouse. Like it's like a liquid whiskey warehouse.
Ooh, I like that note.
I don't know what you mean, like that mustiness that you get in a warehouse.
Yeah, like the woody notes, like of course the smell of the whiskey, but and the earthiness that you have in the warehouses as well.
Yeah, like anybody who's been to a warehouse, you'll know what we're talking about. It's just it hits you straight in the face the minute.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So Andreas also have like a caramel sweetness. Oh, caramel! OMG, what's wrong with me today? I can get that. But I also have the grapes. But like more like grapes in chocolate dipped.
Yeah, one thing I like about this on the nose is kind of similar to in the palate of the small batch and also on the nose of the small batch is it has this kind of balance between sweet and sour.
Yep.
You know, it has that like candied lemon drops or like lemon tart. You know, there's still that sweetness, that caramel, but then also a little bit of a citrus quality to it.
Yeah, I could see the citrus through, like oranges and lemons.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know what this is.
Yeah, it's
just
almost like
okay, so
marmalade.
Sebastian, what do you think of it?
Well, I've just Googled if there is a ginger beer cask finish, and there is, and so I guess this is it, because this prickly feeling, I got this on the ginger beer cask finish.
I know that there is a ginger beer cask, but nope. That's not the one.
It's a really good guess, though.
It's a good guess. It feels like ginger beer.
Because, you know, Sebastian, we would be involved making tasting notes kind of on a quarterly basis. Actually, more, probably on a every 2 weeks. We join together, and between the brand advocacy team and the distillers, we kind of sit down and taste all of our whiskeys and make tasting notes for kind of marketing purposes. But the tasting notes I remember from the ginger beer collaboration were really similar to this, what we talked about, like that candied ginger, the lemon and citrus, the caramel, and kind of the thickness. So I could see how you would think that it's the ginger beer collaboration.
Ja.
Ich finde, der ist sehr mundfüllend.
Ja,
das ist so, du hast richtig viel im Mund dabei, weißt du, was ich meine? So, als könnte man den kauen.
Ja, Sasha just mentioned that he has the feeling like it's very thick, as you can eat it, kind of. So it's very mouth-filling. And we had that here as well. Abby said that too.
Voluptuous.
Genau. So it's not the ginger beer cask. Any other guesses? Was ist mit euch da draußen hinter der Kamera? Habt ihr irgendwelche Vorschläge? Aber auch gerne natürlich ihr. Außer Kai, der weiß es.
Ich glaube, das ist der Single Malt.
Single Malt? No, it's not.
No? Das wär cool, aber...
It's not a single malt.
I think die Holly war so überrascht, es muss ein Weißwein-Finish sein.
At some point, there is the relationship to the small batch is in a few aspects. The relationship to the small batch is really coming through, and of course I know it, so my taste is basically adjusted to it. But,
priming is everything.
Yeah, especially when you've seen my screen with me giving away everything.
I did not see that.
I have the network of spies who provide me with information. Okay, this network solid, but still.
Yeah, so a wine finish is not too bad, Sasha. We have the Riesling cask.
Really?
Yes, really.
Nice.
Like you're happy. Yeah, it's the Riesling wine cask in collaboration with the Reichsrat von Buhl here in Germany. Chris, I think I can know. Yes, that looks good. Have a look. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we're able to share it. I worked it out without showing everything else. And I'm so glad that you pronounced the name of the wine producer that I didn't have to say it in German. You're much better than I am. We also say RVB, well, I think when we're struggling to try and pronounce it in German. But yeah, this is, you know, obviously something that we were exceptionally proud of. It's a product that's been in the work for many, many years. Funnily enough, actually, we first approached this producer back in 2018. So this is not the first time that we've used their Riesling barrels. We had a release back in 2018, which was also matured in a different style of Riesling, only available for the German market. So there was about 1,000 to 1,300 bottles in production. And as far as my knowledge, one of the few whiskies in the world that's matured in Riesling. So obviously something that's you know, attracted a lot of consumers to Teeling whiskey and to Irish whiskey as a category. This particular product, it's again part of that series of collaborations called the small batch collaboration. So if you did pick up any of the links between the small batch in terms of the flavor profile, that's fantastic. It's something that we hope comes through in the final product. So whenever we make any of these collaborations, it's always about putting flavor through in layers. So not necessarily having the secondary cask being over dominant. And at the same time, any of the casks that we're sourcing typically are coming from producers that share the same ethos as Teeling. So, you know, who are forward thinking, who are looking to do things a bit differently and are focusing on, you know, above anything else, quality over quantity. So in terms of production for this, there was not a huge amount of bottles produced. You're looking at around 5,000 in total. The good news is that this is exclusively available to just Germany. So you can't get it anywhere else, is the good news. 46% ABV. And again, taking that base of our small batch, but creating a product that is entirely different. I'm sure for any of you who've tried them side by side, you'll see they're two completely different products in terms of their taste, in terms of the nose, in terms of the finish, but the ingredients are very, very similar. So for example, this has the same amount of barley and corn, both 75% corn and 25% malted barley. It's aged in bourbon barrels, similar to the small batch, for about 6 years. The big difference here is that finish. So using those biodynamic German wine casks, really carrying through a lot of the citrus, also giving you that sort of oaky mustiness. And it also, I think, brings through a lot more of the texture. So giving you that really rich, very thick texture, which is why, you know, I know one of the guys was saying kind of, they thought it was a single malt. I think it drinks a little bit like a single malt. It has that very long, very deep finish to it.
Yeah. And
sorry, I got a question, just stepping back a little. What is Riesling?
Riesling, so it's a style of white wine that is produced in many regions in Germany. Typically, you can have a variety of different styles, but for this, it would be probably one of my only words in German, trocken. So it's a little bit drier. Their style also tends to be quite mineral as well. So where the actual vineyards are based, they're based in an area called in Deidesheim, which would be about 30 minutes from Mannheim. And they produce a lot of different styles, from Pinot Noir to Pinot Gris, even Riesling, Rosé. So that's why, you know, with a style of white wine, you're expecting a lot of that citrus and even sometimes tropical fruits. So, for example, you'll see, like in the tasting notes, there's everything from pineapples and some of those fresh tropical notes, but also a lot of the citrus.
Kai, was ist falsch mit dir? Das weißt du doch. Du bist voll der krasse.
Ja, aber ich komme aus Berlin, ich trinke, also Wein überspringe ich eigentlich, also Bier, Whisky und alles, was irgendwie,
Willkommen in meiner Welt.
Yeah.
So I just was asking him what's wrong with him, because normally he knows everything, like in the spiritual world, and now he was like, no, I'm from Berlin and whiskey and beer.
Spiritual world.
Spiritual world, yeah.
Well, wine
The
is
world of spirits.
The word of spirit, thanks. And
wine is not a spirits, I'm okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, spiritual maybe, but spirits is better.
I'm not a drunk, I'm spiritual.
Yeah, das ist wahr. He mentioned that he loves your version of SFTB, like straight from the bottle.
Oh yeah, trust me, it's not a choice. It is genuinely not a choice. I have no clean glasses. I'm straight in the door. And this is the best option we have. So when life throws you lemons, grab a glass of whiskey.
True. Flip also says that Irish whiskey with German wine cask sounds like a European wedding. I like that metaphor.
Yeah, it's a really nice way of describing it. And just to reiterate, this is the 4th time that we've worked with this producer. So we've used their Riesling barrels back in 2018. We also then after that released a Pinot Noir. So that was the 2nd edition that was unfortunately released during the year that probably everybody wants to forget, during COVID. And then after that, we have this one that you're drinking now in your glass, which is the 3rd edition.
And all are German exclusive, if I'm correct.
Yes, so all German exclusives. And in fact, every year they have a launch event at the Vineyard, which is a fabulous event, normally around September time, where they get a lot of local chefs. They get somebody from Teeling, either myself or Alex or someone from the Teeling team. And we have a bit of a wine and whiskey event to showcase these new releases and the partnership between the two companies. So it's a really fun event. And it gives, I think, people who, maybe aren't necessarily into whiskey to have a bit of a crossover between the wine world and the whiskey world in a very kind of fun and incredibly well set up event.
That's true. Thilo says that the Riesling one from 2018 was his first Teeling, and since then he's fan.
Wow, great one to start.
Yeah, and he has all collaborations with Reisrad vom Buhl at home.
Nice. Yeah, I'd be interested to know which he prefers, because I know some people kind of go for the one that we're drinking now, the Grand Cru, and other people prefer the one from 2018. So Grand Cru essentially is a term within wine, and it essentially stands for the quality of the wine. So it's kind of the highest classification that you can get in wine terms. But again, some people love that the 2018 version and are still asking us to this day, when are we going to re-release this? Which is always a fun thing to see.
Same with the Pinot Noir, one of my favorites from them. Yeah, and so it's nearly empty, and I try to hold it as long as I can. All right, guys, ready for sample number 3? Seid ihr bereit für Nummer 3?
Okay.
Ich sehe schon, geht klar.
Everyone at once. Everyone at 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yay! No, daran müssen wir noch arbeiten.
Alle 3 zusammen.
Ja, deswegen ja. Zu allem bereit, zu nichts zu gebrauchen. Das ist so.
Das hast du jetzt
gesagt. There is sulfur. There's a sulfuric note in there.
That's always the first thing I hear from people who's noting it.
I was just about to say, that is literally the first tasting note I hear every single time. It's incredible.
But im Geschmack hast du es nicht mehr. And here again.
Das sagen alle.
Yeah. It should be the first thing that jumps out of the glass, because I've heard somewhere, and this might be wrong, that our brains are wired to notice burning stuff, and sulfur is always associated with burning stuff. And if you have a fire anywhere, you should notice this immediately. So something like this, you can light a match in the toilet when it stinks, and you will only smell the match.
Ah, that's why. I was wondering. Ah, okay. Wusste ich nicht. And we have a mineralic note as well. A metallic note as well from Andreas.
I had at the beginning a mineral note jumped out of the glass, and then I didn't have sulfur so much. For me, it was more like bacon.
Like that.
It's funny, I never get the sulfur personally. It's always like a salted caramel kind of note. So I can see what you're talking about with the bacon, that's sort of savory and like
a savory note.
God, now I really want to try this with like pancakes with like a maple sauce.
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
Or just drink whiskey and pancakes. I mean, it is the bank holiday weekend after all. You need to treat yourself in some way.
True. I like that. Maybe I try that tomorrow after the fair. Chris, you are not in Germany tomorrow in Mülheim. I asked you the last time again on the Aquavite. Or is there someone else from Teeling?
No, actually. So the next whiskey show that you'll see someone from Teeling is going to be in Frankfurt in December. So very much looking forward to it. I actually will be over in Norway next week. So for anybody who is tuning in from Norway, there is the Oslo Whiskey Festival, which is next week. And then the next time I'll probably get to go to Germany will be around Christmas time. So just in time for the Christmas markets. Perfect timing.
Oh, that's perfect. Just let me know if
Rüdiger, nein.
Time.
Rüdiger, nein. Ja, ich habe es auch so verstanden.
Das werde ich jetzt nicht.
Mund umdrehen und so.
Dafür sind wir doch bekannt.
I get some red berries now behind the silver. It's very fruity.
It is, yeah.
Ich komme nicht durch. Ich krieg nur Schwefel und China-Böller.
China-Böller, like to Silvester, to New Year's Eve.
I don't have sulfur either, but I'm not really sensitive to when it comes to sulfur. Every time when someone says sulfur, most of the times I don't get it.
You like Sebastian. The other Sebastian from Spirits Item, not this Sebastian.
Bussing.
Yeah.
But once you're getting fruit, indeed, blackberries was the state I had it, and a hint of coffee or really dark cacao.
Cocoa.
Yeah.
And as to the fruit, I would say like cranberries would also like fit into. Like...
Chris, do you know the from Spain? it's always like, it's kind of a running gag now in the community that if you have like a lot of sulfate in your whiskey, then it must be a liver, which is a Spanish or Spain whiskey or something like that, and you always have that there.
Thank you for clearing it up. I was thinking about the book, the Latin for book.
What a book. Welches? Oh, ja, jetzt stand ich aber lange auf der Leitung. Ja. Okay, bevor ich noch länger auf der Leitung stehe, wollen wir dann mal einen Schluck trinken.
Alright.
Oha.
So kriegt man nicht zum Trinken. Gut.
Ja, so kriegt man nicht
ist gut, ne? Muss leicht Druck aufbauen.
Slange, guys.
Slange.
Let's do. Has spices and berries and again some sulfur and fireworks, and I like this one.
But it's not that bad with the sulfite for me in the
No,
taste.
it's all right.
Yep.
It's like I get a full load of sherry. I have no idea if there is sherry involved, but I have several kinds of sherry, but yeah, it really fills your mouth.
I get this
very full body.
These firework notes I always get with red wine and sherry, sometimes with port cask, and this feels like a sherry cask.
I got stewed fruit and cream very heavily.
Yeah,
I like that.
And a little bit fresh mint.
But I love that. It's kind of a heavy whiskey. Für mich ist der ziemlich schwer im Mund, and it's getting dry. Ne, der wird auch ziemlich trocken am Ende. Ich weiß nicht, wie ihr das habt, aber das ist so ein schöner, auch so ein mundfüllender Whisky. So it's like a mouth-filling whiskey one. And very thick.
It has surprisingly short finish, considering how much the mouth is actually filled. The mouthfeel is excellent. It's really thick, it's chewy. But then the finish almost stops on point. Really, there's a huge finish and then suddenly it's gone.
Aber da musst du schon Bock drauf haben, oder? Also ich finde der Schwefel ist, also ich finde den krass, den Schwefel.
Oh,
aber ich finde trotzdem fruchtig dabei. Das ist halt so krass, aber es ist so, ich hab diesen China-Böller-Moment halt, ne? Den krieg ich nicht weg.
Ja, aber das ist Schwefel, so mag ich Schwefel. Also für mich ist es nicht zu viel. It's not too much.
Ja, but it's not an everyday.
Ich muss aber tatsächlich zustimmen, jetzt habe ich auch einen Hauch von Schwefel. Nicht viel, aber einen Hauch.
So a little bit.
Get some vanilla cream now.
Oh, yeah. Nose. In the back. Or in the nose?
Nose.
Oh, yes.
Sulfur is gone now, it's vanilla cream to me.
True.
Well, the cream was there
like
first.
Custard and jelly stuff, that you would usually have. Like,
ich muss, glaube ich, auch aus dem Fläschchen riechen, weil am Fläschchen rieche ich gar keinen Schwefel.
Da kommt auch nichts raus.
Ich muss es wie Chris machen, das funktioniert.
So that's doing it like you, Chris, now from out of the samples.
What's this again?
Like the Irish way. Sasha is now doing the Irish way out of the samples.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you have many samples at home because of COVID, or when any of the virtual tastings, but I've actually found that I've gotten so used to drink. They're actually quite nice to drink it out of a sample. It's like a little hip flask or something.
Love that.
Wenn der nicht so viel Luft kriegt und du den direkt aus dem Sample trinkst, hat der fast gar keinen Schwefel. Das ist total krass.
Ach, heftig. Muss ich auch noch.
That's interesting.
I need to try that as well out of the sample then.
I'm gonna try this now.
Yeah, do that. Feel free. Any guesses already? I saw the correct answer already in the chat.
Check.
Also schon noch Schwefel, aber es ist weniger.
Ja, aber viel
ist nicht so
weniger.
aggro.
Deswegen ja, genau, das meine ich. Das ist total krass. Also ich finde, aus dem Fläschchen ist er nice. Danke.
So you better like it out of the sample bottle directly. Okay.
So what we're gonna take away from this? Always drink from the bottle.
I was gonna say, this is a trend that I definitely don't want to start.
So we went this evening, drink your whiskey out of the bottle directly.
Premium Irish whiskey, drunk from a sample bottle.
Someone should clip this.
Yeah, maybe in the next tasting or something, we'll see. Maybe you're doing a sample bottling tasting or something.
Ja, aber ganz ehrlich, die halten uns doch völlig bescheuert, wenn wir plötzlich alle anfangen, aus unserem Fläschchen zu trinken.
Ja, vielleicht.
Well,
Irgendwann denkt man nur noch, es sind alles Alkoholiker.
Also der 3 hat es auf jeden Fall gut getan, aus dem Fläschchen zu trinken. Definitiv.
Habt ihr denn Vorschläge, was es sein könnte? Any guesses what it could be?
Larissa hat einen Vorschlag gemacht.
Larissa? Wo ist Larissa?
Ja, im Chat.
Hä? Ich sehe sie nicht. Ach doch, da unten. Da unten. Aber Larissa war nicht zuerst da. Guter Vorsatz hat es direkt geschrieben. She wrote it directly like after a minute we knows it. And she was like, yay, rosé. And I think she has said it before when we did the cocktail thing. I think Guter Vorsatz correctly, but I think we had the rosé as well.
Ja.
And Larissa was correct as well. Ja.
Ich hätte auf ein Friendship Bottling mit Lieber getippt.
Maybe the next time.
Yeah.
Don't. Just don't.
Don't, no. Yeah, okay. She had it during our cocktail session. Yeah, great. That's funny that you due to that you have directly the rosé in your mind. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alle reden von Schwefel, muss Rosé sein. Okay.
Kind of, yeah. All right, we are seeing the first bottling of the Riesling, if I'm correct, and the Pinot Noir.
Yeah, so they're the two previous editions. Now, obviously, the one that we're trying tonight, this has literally only just come out. So it's brand new. It's exclusive to Germany again. There's a total of 900 bottles. And if you're looking to pick up a bottle, if you already haven't got one, it is available now exclusively through whiskey.de. So that is one of the main places that you can get this. Fantastic release. I was very fortunate actually to be there at the winery this year in September for the launch of this product. And it was really interesting actually to see people's tasting notes this evening, because I'm starting to notice a bit of a trend with the sulfur and the gunpowder and the fireworks. You know, these are things that I'm starting to see come up again and again. As well as that meaty characteristic, which I think is really, really just delicious when it's combining with these red fruits, like say maraschino cherries or blackcurrants, having that sort of salted fruit, or as I saw someone mention, some boar, which I think was a great tasting note. With one thing that I particularly love about it is the finish. You know, I think one or two of you mentioned that kind of minty or sort of herbal quality, which I think definitely comes through at the very end. And in terms of the makeup of this whiskey, as I said, the first two whiskeys, even the first three whiskeys that we've tried, are the exact same base in terms of their structure. So this series really focusing on those atypical cask maturation techniques, looking at maturation as a focus piece and kind of expand on the flavors within Irish whiskey. And this is another great example. I think the only downside is that we didn't produce more bottles. You know, we only received 2 casks in total. There were some former French wine barrique casks, which of course they used to produce their rosé. And then we matured our whiskey in this for about 12 months in total. So a little bit less time than the Riesling. But I think it's a great kind of wintertime dram, you know, having those heavy, rich sort of flavors that work exceptionally well, you know, coming into these winter months.
But still, let me allow to make a little compliment, which I make an absolute sincerity. The light floral sweetness of the corn is still coming through. And I like that very much. I mean, often the corn is... people often try to hide the corn, the sweetness of the corn, and with those finishes, and try to put a cask over it. But here, the corn is still present in a very, very, very nice way.
Yeah, that's true.
I like very nice to say. Yeah, and I think it's a testament to our master distiller, master blender, Alex Chasko. You know, the way he works with casks is very unique. And the number of casks as well that he works with is incredible. Like now currently in our warehouses at Teeling, we have nearly close to around 200 different expressions. So everything from like aquavit casks to schnapps, vermouth, tequila, beer barrels, cognac, like 200 different ones, and he's working with them on a daily basis. And I think one thing that Alex is so gifted at is finding these cask types and making them work in a very subtle way. You know, as I said with the previous release, it's not overpowering. It's very layered. There's still the base that you can get, that high sweetness from the corn. You can also get a little bit of the fruit characteristics from the triple distilled malt. So like the apricot pear is kind of sticking in the first three products. But then the finishing cask just really shines through for both whiskies, I think, in the finish in particular, and then also predominantly in the nose. Like you'll notice with both of these, if you haven't finished your sample, going back to the palate, it's a lot more the whiskey. Ja. And the one kind of comes through at the finish on the nose mostly.
Ja, also auch hier Rosé, Zusammenarbeit mit Reichsrat vom Buhl. Small Batch ist wieder die Grundlage. 12 Monate lag es in den Roséfässern. Wieder nur hier in Deutschland und macht einen schönen Winterwhisky. Und Kai hat ein Kompliment gemacht. Das passiert selten.
So selten, wie Flup das gerade behauptet, ist es jetzt aber auch nicht.
Ja, aber schon nicht oft. Er sagt halt, er findet es schön, dass das Fass nicht diesen Whisky überlagert, wie wir es ja öfter hatten. Ne? Also das ist schon eine schöne Nummer. Ralf sagt auch noch, he thinks that Teeling is getting better and better, and a lot of is subjective of the taste, obviously. But the experiments are very great and interesting, and he really likes it.
Fantastic. That's very nice of you to say.
Here, Chris, and you should make a red mark into your calendar when Kai gives you a compliment.
Yes,
or maybe
it's good thing, Flurb, is that this will probably live on the internet forever. So I have
True.
digital footage. Don't worry, it's going to be on my Instagram stories.
Someone's got to clip that too.
Yeah, I think so. It's got a meme. So, und so sieht die Flasche im Groß aus, ne? Für alle, die es noch nicht gesehen haben. Und hier ist auch der Phönix drauf.
Nice.
Can you see that? Yeah, it's engraved in the glass.
Which means that the distillate is from Dublin.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is a small marker that we've included to kind of give a bit more transparency with our products. For anybody who knows the Teeling story, you're familiar that we set up as a company distilling in Dublin in 2015. But before 2015, we ran one of the only distilleries in Ireland during the 1980s, which was an independent producer called the Cooley Distillery.
Yeah.
Cooley, of course, produced some phenomenal Irish whiskies, the likes of Connemara, and Kilbeggan was part of the Cooley portfolio a little bit later on, and Tyrconnell. So this was run by the Teeling family. A man called John Teeling actually bought the Cooley Distillery in 1987. He still says to this day it is probably the ugliest distillery in all of Ireland. It is hideous. If you ever get a chance, or even if you want to Google it, the Cooley Distillery. But the whiskies it produced were world class. And Jack and Stephen, his two sons, were working there. So Jack kind of took over from John in 2011 as the CEO. He decided to sell the company eventually to Beam Suntory. And as part of that deal, we decided to keep about 16,000 barrels of whiskey to set up in Dublin. So, you know, as Teeling's portfolio, the great thing for whiskey consumers is we have a very vast portfolio of, you know, single malt and other styles of whiskey that are 20 years old, 30 years old, nearly even 40 years old now as part of our portfolio. And also, of course, the newer stuff, which we're distilling in Dublin since 2015. So that little Phoenix, that'll give you an indication of a lot of the stock. For example, one of the other whiskies tonight, I'll try not give away anything. One of the other whiskies we're trying tonight has definitely been distilled in Dublin. So any diehard Teeling fans, you'll have a better idea of what we might be tasting this evening.
Ja, also nochmal kurz zusammengefasst, wenn ihr den Phönix so auf der Flasche seht, eingraviert, dann kommt es direkt von Dublin. Alles davor ist von der Brennerei in Cooley, gehört auch der Teeling-Familie. Macht auch super Stuff, aber natürlich... Gehörte, stimmt, jetzt ist ja Satori,
2011 verkauft, ja.
Hast du recht. Genau, die sind verkauft, aber Teeling hat ganz viele, 60.000 Fässer behalten mit ganz vielen tollen Zeug. Also von daher, aber das gibt euch so ein bisschen den Indikator, was schon aus Dublin kommt und was nicht. And Chris, is it true that John doesn't drink any whiskey? I heard that.
This is something that I think is like has become public knowledge nearly at this stage, that John is a teetotaler. Yeah, I still haven't actually got a direct response. I think John is a very interesting character, full stop. If you look at his history, he first did his master's, I believe, on the Irish whiskey industry. And he sort of saw an opening in Irish whiskey during the 1980s where there was very little production, and, decided to buy this old ethanol plant on the border of Northern Ireland and Ireland and basically just start a new distillery when nobody else was. And really, is, in my opinion, now one of the key figures within the revival of Irish whiskey, and by extension, the Teeling family. But to be honest, I still am skeptical whether the man has produced, some absolutely astounding whiskies with his teams over, many, many years, that he doesn't drink a drop. Maybe he does.
You never know.
Kleine Anmerkung noch. Ich glaube, der Phönix ist nicht eingraviert, sondern der ist geprägt. Also
Stimmt, hast recht. Ja.
Also er ist erhaben. Also er ragt
ja,
raus.
hast recht, er ist nicht. Ja.
Das nennt man dann Prägung, embossed in Englisch ist es dann.
Ja, stimmt. Ja, ich wusste nicht, wie man es nennt, aber dafür habe ich ja euch da. Muss ja nicht alles alleine.
Intelligenz.
Ja, genau. Okay. Ready for the second half. Sample number 4. Seid ihr bereit?
Quatre.
I will have to switch for a little bit.
Yeah, and Volker Dank too.
I'll have a break as well. I have some
as long as it's Guinness, Kai, it's no problem.
Oh, is it Guinness?
No, it's not Guinness, but I can tell you what it is, Holly.
What is it? If you pronounce it like that, it has to be something special.
No, I'll show you when you're finished. I don't want to spoil anything.
Ooh, I hate but delicious. That's awesome.
Vodka Cola.
That's fine as well, Kai. If it's not a Guinness, that's good. Volker, what about you? What do you have in your glass? Is it Guinness?
Water. Like
what?
It's
black.
It's water.
Black water.
Black cup.
Yeah, it's Lake Constance water because our city water is directly from Lake Constance.
Yeah.
From the Alps.
I was going to say,
that's not true.
Is that coming from the River Liffey?
It's not. It's clear as
because it looks darker than his pint of porter from our view.
It
just
is
the
like
cup.
Like that's
it's the
cup.
Okay.
Festival cup, and it's clear water, and it's water from Lake Constance directly from the Alps. Yeah.
That's cool.
Our city water is from Lake Constance.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
someone pees in the lake.
Yeah, and for Volker it's water, and for the rest of us is sample 4.
Prost. Nee, Moment, ihr wollt ja noch nosen.
You can nose your beer as well, Kai, if you want to.
I can get some sweet wood notes, lots of caramel in here.
Yeah, go with it. But do you know that
some toasted oak?
Yeah, if you have a tasting and then change for water or for I don't know what, and then you have the glass in your hand and you are liking you do the nosing like you did before.
Yes, always. I tend to nose everything now.
Ja. Also auch für die anderen, wir haben gerade drüber gesprochen, ob Kai auch sein Bier vernosen wird. Dann habe ich gerade gesagt, wir kennen das alle, wenn wir Tastings machen und was anderes trinken, nosen wir direkt an dem neuen Glas. Egal was drin ist. Ebert says that it's very fruity, juicy peach, and like the cinnamon. Oh yeah, I go with the cinnamon.
I'd say it's a very dense and sweet peach.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about peach or apricot, but it's intensely sweet in there.
Which does surprise me if I'm honest, because I mean I know the whiskey and I love that one, but always if I know that, I'm surprised about the peachy note. And you will see why in a few minutes.
Riecht aber auf jeden Fall nach mehr als 46%. Würde ich schon eher um die 50 sagen.
Sasha would guess that it has more than 50% of ABV. A lightly floral note.
Yes.
Guter Vorsatz.
Yes, I smell a little bit of floral perfume.
Mhm. Finde ich total spannend, dass ihr das habt. Mit dem Wissen, welches Finish es ist, finde ich das total krass. Oh, Chris, is there any chance to get an empty Teeling cask?
Okay, I was trying to translate the German there, and I thought it was saying, "Can we get an old Teeling whiskey cask?" I was like, short answer, Ralph, is no. Empty bottles. Yeah, let me, as I said, maybe send me a message and I'll see what I can do to give you a hand.
What is an empty cask?
Oh, an empty cask. Sorry, I thought you meant an empty bottle. Those, to be honest, it depends very much on what we're working with currently. So, for example, we have quite a shortage of small barrels. And I know typically for like home brewers or people who make their own stuff, they're looking for like blood tubs or quarter casks. You know, they're not willing to take on like 700 liters. It's quite a big amount to be dealing with. So we currently don't have many small cask varieties, and just as a result, we're not sending any empty casks to people at the moment. But keep an eye out for it. And again, it's very much like a case by case basis. It depends on the person asking. It depends on the use. Yeah.
What about decorative purposes?
Those we do as well. So again, you know, we try to be as sustainable as we possibly can. If any of our casks are left over, for example, if there are people that, you know, reuse the casks to make like I don't know, a dog kennel or like a skateboard or a guitar or something. Absolutely, they're sort of projects we constantly look to work with. Again, because if you've leftover casks and they're just going to sit there and they're not going to be used. It's good to, if you can, you know, reduce your waste a little bit.
True.
I'm just seeing I've started the Guinness versus Beamish.
Yes.
I was gonna ignore it, but then you put it up twice, Fleur. But I was like, as a man who is a diehard Guinness fan from, you know, I won't say what age, but from a
legal age.
Definitely, I'm gonna fight my corner on that. But I'm surprised you didn't say Murphy's, because Murphy's is also very popular in Germany.
Sure, it is.
For me, it also depends where I am. So, for example, when I was down in Kerry earlier today, I was drinking yesterday, drinking pints of Guinness. Absolutely fantastic stuff down there.
And I think legal age for drinking in Ireland is 12.
Legal drinking 18 years old. Yes.
Officially.
You can't. It's funny, in Germany you can actually drink alcohol with your parents at 14.
What? Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
With your parents, it's okay.
I'm from the village, so you drink anyway, but...
No, even in the big city, with the parents' permission, you're allowed to do it 14. And even this was raised. In my childhood was actually like, as long as the parents agree, you are free to do everything.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Changed now.
That's quite early.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, Fleur has lived half a year in Cork, so he knows the English one.
There we go.
Outside of Ireland, it's not that famous, and you can't get it anymore. I have a famous Irish pub in Cologne. Who doesn't have it? If you are asking, then it's under the table. So that's pretty good. But you need to know
Bückware.
Yes,
genau.
Yeah.
Die gute Bückware.
Yeah.
I actually lived in Cork City for 9 months, and I lived not too far from the Beamish Brewery, so I was there quite a lot.
Yeah.
They have good pours. They had 3 pints there.
I don't think I've ever had any stout beside Guinness.
What? Oh, that's a mistake. You need to change that.
There's no big city around.
Keep it that way.
Guinness is fine as well. Guinness is awesome, but there are others.
We have like one pub here in my hometown that has Guinness, and the next big city is about an hour away. I'm not willing to drive that, because then I have to drive.
Yeah, and then you can't drink, obviously. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we are at drinking, so I would say let's take a sip.
Cool.
Guys. Prost. My cat is snoring somewhere. Oh yeah, there he is.
It's interesting actually mentioning the Guinness and porters. One flavor that I often get from this whiskey is either dark chocolate or roasted grains. Sometimes you get it carrying through in the nose, but also there's this lovely like nuttiness.
Yeah,
on the nose, like walnuts or almonds or hazelnuts.
Ollie, don't die. Please,
Bless you.
No, I don't die. I'm alive.
Not today.
Not today. Yeah, I also have like the roasted almonds and nuts. I really like that. And a kind of a malty note as well.
And a bit of rum.
Like
That's
molasses or...
Cheers. Oh, that's sad that you have to work anymore. Sorry for that. I hope it's not too bad.
And on a bank holiday, I hope you're getting the Tuesday.
I hope so too, but I know a lot of them who needs to work like both days on Monday and Tuesday. But... Oh yes, we do work. Meeting in Cologne at the Irish pub. I love that. I'm in.
This now feels like a beer finish, like a stout finish. I've had the stout finish before. That was years ago, and I have no memory of it. I just know I had it. But this feels like a really dark beer finish.
I mean, we had a lot of hints now with beer and stout and porter, so it's not too far away that we are at the beer finish, but it's not the stout finish.
Just reminds me of a stout from a German brewery that was really didn't have a lot of sweetness, was very heavy on the roasted notes, and some getting used to with that one.
Which one is it from Germany, Sebastian?
Landgang.
Ah, ja, okay.
Aus Hamburg.
Ja, stimmt.
Einer aus meinem Abi-Jahrgang hat die gegründet, die Brauerei.
Echt? Ich habe die in Hannover getrunken. Geil.
Warum haben wir dann immer noch kein Set und immer noch kein Tasting gegeben?
Echt mal, Sebastian, ziemlich.
So viel Kontakt haben wir nicht.
Ach so, aber erstmal hier prahlen, kenne ich.
Naja,
ich habe gesagt, ich kenne den.
Das hat er nicht gesagt.
Sascha, falls du das siehst. Nee. Weißt du, wie es auch, Sascha?
Falls derjenige das sehen sollte, dann schreib mir bitte oder dem anderen Sascha, wir organisieren ein Tasting, danke.
Wir machen das klar, weil der Sebastian unfähig ist, das klar zu machen.
Ich kann ihn ja mal anschreiben.
We're just talking about German beer, and Sebastian, the German beer reminds Sebastian of the whiskey we have right now.
Okay.
So we're in the beer corner. That's not too far away. That's correct. But it's not the stout finish. I like the stout finish as well, and I've got it in my shelf as well, but it's not this one.
And I can also disclose it's not this one.
That's a good one. That's from my region.
It is, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Aber das ist auch sehr lecker. Very delicious beer. Kai, willst du es denn mal
auflösen?
Schmeckt
wie gebrannte Mandeln.
Ich werde es mal auflösen. Also,
okay, komm, mach mal.
Despite the fact that it's certainly not this beer and it's not even terribly close, but it has the same name, so it works, and it's dark, so it works too. It is...
So lecker.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah. So we have the black porter here.
It's a very regional beer, so it's not available everywhere.
Ja, true.
Schmeckt auch sehr gut mit einer Kugel Vanilleeis drin.
I like that. So this time we have a collaboration with the Dut Brew brewery. Is it a brewery? Is it called Dut Brew Brewery or is it just Dut Brew?
They call them, Dot Brew. The reason being is they're technically actually a gypsy style brewer, What that basically means is that they don't actually have their own brewery. So
okay.
they couldn't call themselves dot brewery. So yeah, Gypsy Style Brewer is someone that makes their beer in loads of different locations, but then they have their own like rack house. So it's actually probably be one of my favorite Irish craft beer producers at the moment. An incredibly talented guy called Shane Kelly, who originally was like an architect who was doing a lot of home brewing and then kind of took it professionally and decided to, you know, make a brand out of it. Fun thing, if you ever pick up his beer, and it is quite difficult to find, is the only annoying thing, but a lot of his cans and a lot of his bottles actually combine really very intricate shapes. So you can see, for example, like the logo of the brewery. But then at the same time, he includes drawings from his kids who are really young. So like you've got really like chaotic kids drawings, which are obviously terrible because they're like, you know,
that's awesome,
5 years old or whatever. And then you have his like really structured shape. So it's kind of like chaos and order in a very, very sort of artistic way. And his beers as well are exceptional. He does a lot of barrel aged beers. So, for example, he's done like Belgian blondes in white tequila barrels. He's done some porters and stouts in Irish single malts. He's used some Amarone casks and Calvados and really forward-thinking stuff. And this particular one, this is some dark porter. So again, very similar to stout. You're talking a little bit less of the hops in terms of production. But for all intents and purposes, you know, it's dark malts, which are going to give you those lovely dark chocolate and coffee. For me, as I said, it has also this kind of nutty characteristic to it. So there's kind of like Nutella sort of flavor to it with a bit of sweetness and a bit of nuttiness. And with this particular one, he did produce a variety of different beers matured in our whiskey barrels, and then we took those to make a whiskey, the Teeling Dark Porter. So again, bottle of 46%. The Teeling kind of you know, iconic 46 is the lowest that we'll go. If any of you are interested in his beers, we do actually sell a lot of his beers that he used our whiskey barrels for from our distillery website. They're only exclusive to the distillery. And some of them are very, very interesting. So yeah, this is available currently in Germany. It's, again, a relatively new product. It's a slightly higher bottle run than the Rosé, which is only 900 bottles. This is around 10,800. The good news is that we'll be able to get this in time for the Christmas, either Beamish or Guinness. A very nice pairing. Funnily enough, actually, in Ireland, one thing for anybody who's been there or anybody who's lived in Ireland, you'll know that it's quite a common practice, and it's a big part of our culture that if you go to a pub, you will see a lot of people drinking like a beer and a whiskey at the same time, side by side. Now, it doesn't mean we mix them, and it doesn't mean that we have like, you know, 15 whiskeys. It's one and one. But they do work really well together. So I'm glad, Kai, you're sticking to your Irish roots. You're doing it properly.
That's good. Tito says that he is very close to us. He has the amber ale in the glass.
Oh, fantastic.
I really like yeah.
Yeah, so that's amber ale is with the same producer, with Dot Brew.
Yeah, yeah. And I really like that one. I like the stout finish as well, but I'm more on the dark porter one.
Really?
Yeah,
because I know there was someone earlier mentioning they had the stout cask, and as I said, it's probably still one of my favorite collaborations, just because it's again, I remember it back. It was the first cask exchange we ever did, and the beers as well they produce are phenomenal. The beer actually that Shane Kelly made for the amber ale was astounding. It was matured in our rum casks. So it was called the Rum Red Dark, and he did a lot of blending of different beers and different cask finishes. And the beer itself was like 9.6% ABV, but it was amazing.
Oh, wow. Für alle, die jetzt auch das Bier versuchen wollen, wenn wir eine Sammelbestellung machen möchten, sagt mir Bescheid, weil wir können es bei der Distillerie direkt bestellen. Schreibt mir einfach oder in der Gruppe oder Sascha oder wem auch immer schreiben. Sorry. Dann können wir auch eine Sammelbestellung machen. Das kriegen wir bestimmt hin. Weil Bier ist lecker. Muss man schon sagen. Hättet ihr es gedacht? Would you have guessed that it's like a beer finish? Ausdrucken.
Not the nose. The nose was too fruity for me to have ever guessed the porter finish.
Ja, totally with you, Sebastian. Dachte ich am Anfang auch und dachte mir so, was? Das ist doch niemals Bier, hä?
Aber ich finde, vom Geschmack her fand ich, das war wie gebrannte Mandeln mit Schokolade.
Ja, Sasha just mentioned that the taste was like burnt almonds with chocolate.
Yeah. Again, something really nice to drink with. I don't know if there's many people who are tuning in that eat chocolate when they're drinking whiskey, but it is a nice one to have with like a dark chocolate, or dare I say, with a pint of porter or stout.
Yeah, true. I remember the chocolate Teeling whiskey tasting we done last year, I think. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, and that was actually with the local chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the name of them? Proper chocolate.
Yeah, I need to look that up, but yeah, it was awesome. The one with the pralines. Yeah, correct. Oh, that was great. Yep. Andreas Number 4 ist die Dark Porter. Das ist, ja, Dark Porter. Das heißt nur so.
It's Dark Porter. Auf Deutsch Dark Porter.
Genau. Super Übersetzung.
I know 2 words now in German. Trocken and Dark Porter.
Oh man.
I'll be, just give us a few more hours. I'll be fluent by the end of the night.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a lot in Germany, so.
Yeah.
Well,
You would think it would rub off and that I'd actually learn the language properly, but alas.
Next time. Kai, what?
I'm actually teaching German. So.
Oh yeah, you does. True.
To refugees, so I can teach everyone.
Oh, brilliant!
So
I'll pay you in whiskey.
Totally deal. Because usually, no, let's not get into this.
Okay, I would say let's go to sample number 5 before we are going to a German teaching lesson. Oh. Okay, sample number 5.
Oh, and let me just preface it. Since this crowd doesn't know my taste as well as Holly does, Holly obviously knows this one is really set to be my favorite because it checks all my marks. And fortunately, the people here don't know my marks, so yep.
I do.
So this will be I'm very excited about it.
It was Chris. I'm not sure if I told you that after the club tasting, I think that was the favorite of all of us. If I'm not
the wrong. One we just tried, the Dark Porter.
No, that one what's coming next.
The one we're about to try.
Yeah. And I'm really excited what the others will say.
Only one liked it?
No, the most of us liked it.
Because I was shocked. I mean, I know.
I was like, what? Yeah, you, Kai, you alone. But I'm really excited what the rest will say, as I think for most of them it will be the first time they try it. I'm pretty sure.
No way. Yeah, this is something very, very special in their glass.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's kind of a premiere, so Leute, strengt euch an hier.
So, number 5 now? Okay.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Yep.
Okay, you are in again.
Yeah, perfect.
Wake up!
So, Volker, it's good that it was sample 4 that was broken. I mean, you get the Dark Porter, and this one, I think you will like it. I think you will love it. Vielleicht. Was sagt ihr denn von der Nase her?
Definitely Teeling. It checks all the marks that all the other 4 had before. I'm at the point where I think I can guess a Teeling, where I can get the distillery character.
Okay, we are doing next a blind tasting where I need to guess what Teeling or not. Oh, we make it challenge, Sebastian. We are doing a challenge. Is it Teeling or is it not?
Teeling or not? Yeah.
I love that idea. Oh yeah, we need to do that. I mean, most of our ideas for streams are coming out of live streams. So Sebastian, your own fault. You do that now. Check.
And you all have to drink them out of samples to make it 10 times more difficult.
I think that I've got in the group of WhatsApp, I've got a lot of messages where everyone else is drinking out of the sample box. think we got a new trend now.
Oh, no.
One way actually that's quite fun to smell your whiskey, and this is genuinely not a joke. This is something that you can use. They use actually in perfume production.
Yeah.
As we know, whiskey and perfume are actually very similar in terms of how they're made. They're both distilled. If you were to take gin and perfume as well, obviously botanicals are two things that are used in both. But one thing you can do to smell your whiskey, and this is completely optional, you don't have to do it, but it is a little bit of fun, is if you have a glass, put your hand on top of your glass, literally just give it a little bit of a flip over, and you can see you get a little bit of whiskey. Rub your hands together.
Dissipate the alcohol.
So this is called the moisturizer test. You can see it rubs in like a cream, rubs in like, you know, very, very thick hand cream. And the heat from your hands will actually allow a lot of the aromas to come through from the whiskey. So you can then bring it to your nose.
Yeah.
And have a smell like so.
Oh, a lot of nuts and wood. It's really dark again. Oh, Chris, there's a message from Flurb. He's not a really good teacher of any language, but you can drink a few beers together, no matter if Guinness or Bamish, Murphy's or O'Hara's. Oh, I like the O'Hara's one. To help you to be fluent in German.
Happily take you up on that. And trust me, by the time you've had a couple of Guinness, you'll be speaking fluent Irish by the end as well.
Yes, I mean
Oi, mate.
we had that a few minutes before the live stream, like that we said like most language you are learning if we are drinking 1 or 2 or more pints of beer or something like that in a pub with guys around you.
That's why our refugees don't learn German.
Maybe you should take them to a pub, Kai, and then drink a little bit of beer with them, and then
but then they should drink.
By the way, I have to totally agree with the tropical fruit note.
Yeah.
There is a lot of it. Really spot on. And I'm not sure if I would agree with Sebastian at this point. I usually agree with him. He's saying very intelligent things. But
Glück gehabt.
No, but at this point, I would disagree because there's something rather different this time. little hint.
Yeah, I also think this is different from all the other ones we had so far.
It is. Yeah,
and it has the fruitiness, like Sasha would say, tropi frutti.
Yeah, ananas.
The dark version of tropi frutti.
What is the dark version of tropi frutti? Is it what the emperor would take?
Not like the light fruit, but the heavy fruits.
I'm just really weirdly picturing Darth Vader eating Tutti Frutti now.
Yes, immediately.
And it has some
at least one got it. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, there's also some muskiness, but not like the unpleasant muskiness, but a very pleasant muskiness.
Yeah.
Also Moschus.
Rüdiger,
ich bin übrigens immer noch wirklich total, also Flurbs Kommentare, er möchte jetzt seinen Partner einreiben, das ist
yeah, Flurbs Kommentare are always very funny.
Flurb ist unser Kommentar-Virtuose. He's our commentary virtuoso.
Yes, he is.
He can do commentaries like no other person can.
Yeah, true. And I'm really excited to meet him in person. I just know it online, and I really wish to meet him at some point in person.
Let's put it this way, Fleur. If your girlfriend is not participating in the tasting, maybe just don't go and throw a glass of whiskey on her. I don't think she'll appreciate it.
How to make someone love whiskey. Step 1.
Yeah, I'll just throw it over it. Geil. Oh, herrlich. All right, guys. So before we are going further into that, just
I would have a lot of material in this regard. But
okay, so just give it a try, I would guess.
Okay.
Slange, guys.
Slange.
Cheers, Slange.
Yeah, Slange.
Oh, a lot of wood, a lot of special wood. You should like wood finishes or wood influences, but it's really interesting how spicy it is, and on the other hand, how fruity it is.
Oh yeah,
This is
brilliant.
I told you would like it.
Mouth filling. This is my kind of whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sag ich doch. I
Which
told
is
you.
so curious because not very many people like this kind of whiskey in Germany.
True.
Yeah.
But I know my guys, so yeah.
Now I get like pineapple rubbed on oak, like rubbed on wood, and then
Maracuja.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like I'm feeling as I've been in an Asian restaurant with baked pineapples and jasmine tea.
And lemongrass.
Yeah. There's some bitterness in as well, but very pleasant bitterness.
Richtig lecker.
Yeah. It
Der
is.
Der ist gut.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is completely different than the others.
I told you.
Yeah.
And you will see why it's different in a minute, because it's very special. And I personally love every Teeling lily, but this one is like, I mean, Teeling is experimental, but this one is like a step further for me. I really like that. Oh yeah, and a lot of the guys in the chat says, I love it. It's my favorite till now. So
yeah.
I knew it. Good that we have this in the tasting. I knew it that they would love that.
I hope there are more. It has more than like 700 bottles or something.
You can still buy it. That's the good news.
Yes.
So, any guesses, guys? Habt ihr Ideen, was es ist?
Yeah, I'm out.
Bushmills 30.
No.
But obviously that's a
Der war süßer.
Because
Aber
Sascha
schmeckt
loves
sehr
the
ähnlich.
Nein,
Wirklich sehr ähnlich, finde ich.
Nein, tut er nicht.
That's a compliment.
Der hier
Sascha
ist,
loves it.
der hier ist viel würziger. Der Bushmills war viel weicher und fruchtiger und süßer.
Genau. Also die Würze hier ist das wirklich entscheidend an dieser Stelle. Und
Ja,
nicht nur die Würze, sondern eben auch das etwas rauere, das roh. It's rougher than the usual single malt.
Yeah.
It's a little rough around the edges, which I very, very much like, and I think it comes because of the mash bill.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay,
I would guess something about the mash bill.
Gives us a hint, yeah?
Yeah.
Ja, was würdet ihr sagen? Hau raus.
If Kai says it's a mash bill, then it's gotta have a high rye content.
You know me well, but it's not right this time.
Or it's just a single pot still. Like it would be a single pot still then, which is another.
Not too far away, Volker. Not too far away. So, I just show you this. Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
It's a beauty. Wow. Hang on, I need to open it. So, we got the
Oh, it's
new...
a fancy box.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, in the inside, there's wood as well. And you have the explanation on the side. So that's pretty good. And so it's the new World of Wonder series. And we have a virgin Schinkelpin oak. And it's a Potstill. That's correct.
Okay.
It's a Potstill whiskey. The unmalted barley.
And really, malted barley.
Yeah, this combination is really unmistakable. I think I'm a huge fan of unmalted stuff. And what's Getreide? Cereals?
Grain.
Of unmalted grains in the whiskey, and it really shows because it adds a lot of character. It's not this well-rounded, well-balanced. There's a lot of character in it, and then there's the virgin oak of the Schinkelpin on top of it. It really elevates it to another level. And when I was reading this at first, I was confused because Holly wrote me. WOW, which I think, okay, World of Warcraft, they have a cooperation now. Okay, Teeling my dude, it's okay. But still, it's great. I'm totally set on buying one. It's amazing. I like it.
Nice.
How much is it? Like the usual price?
It's like 70 or 75, I think.
75, yeah.
That's a nice price for a nice box.
I forgot to thank Borco and Chris because most of the bottles we got sponsored. So Thank you again for that. I should have said that at the beginning, but anyway. No, you know that.
Relate than never.
Oh, and the 50%, a perfect.
It's got 50%, yeah.
A perfect ABV.
Yeah, it is. And you've got malted and
unmalted.
Yeah, thanks. So, Chris, your turn. You see, absolutely. Most of them are like
we're ecstatic.
No, it's great to see, and I suppose first and foremost, I'm sure there are a couple of people who are tuning in thinking, "What in God's name is Chinkapin?" It sounds like a Pokemon. Is this a whiskey? Is this, you know, what is this? So Chinkapin, essentially, it's a style of Appalachian oak, white oak, that's grown in North America. So it's actually a subspecies of oak that typically the barrels, the grain, like the actual wood, tends to be a little bit tighter in terms of how it's actually put together. So what that basically means, you're going to get a lot of tannins. You're going to get a lot of this inherent spice, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, ginger, allspice, and it also gives you this lovely fruitiness. Now, the great thing about this is this combined with single pot still whiskey is what makes it so special. And of course, the higher ABV at 50% ABV. With Teeling and single pot still, it is, for anybody who doesn't know, it's a unique, geographically protected style of whiskey that you actually can't make in any other country in the world. So it's like 100% Irish style that has this very deep heritage that goes back many, many centuries. And basically, it's normally a combination of both malted barley and unmalted barley. So if you ever see single pot still whiskey written on a bottle of whiskey in Ireland, it does not refer to the pot stills, to the lembics, how you distill whiskey. It refers to the mash bill. And that's really important because with the unmalted component, typically it's lower on sugars. So it's absolutely terrible for fermentation. You know, it doesn't produce a lot of sugars. And as we know, yeast needs sugar to metabolize it and to convert it into byproducts like carbon dioxide and ethanol and esters and all those wonderful things that we need to make alcohol and whiskey. But unmalted barley is very special for the flavor. So it gives you this beautiful oily texture, which I could see everybody feeling is like that really grips the sides of your cheeks. That's the unmalted barley coming through. It's a lot more robust. It's also a type of ingredient that when you triple distill it, you still keep the flavors from the cereal. So normally the big argument for triple distillation in Ireland is that you keep all of the esters, you keep all the fruitiness from fermentation. Whereas the argument in Scotland for double distilling is you keep the flavor from the grain. And single pot still is so special, in my opinion, because it has this combination of both. It has the goodness from the yeast and it has the greatness from the grain. The last thing that I'll say on this whiskey, and I'm glad that it's a blind tasting because sometimes I think people are swayed by awards, but this product just recently in 2022, it actually picked up the award for the best single pot still in the world at the World Whiskey Award.
Great. Deserved.
So yeah, very, very special product. It's 15,000 bottles. So the good news is it's a little bit more than the rosé. You'll be able to find a little bit easier. And with this, it's going to be a series where we're focusing on alternative styles of wood. In Ireland, you may or may not know this already, but in Ireland, you don't have to use just oak for the maturation. So for example, we've been testing out things like acacia and chestnut and loads of really weird and wonderful stuff to try and continue to push the boundaries within Irish whiskey. So it's definitely something that you can look out for the second edition and the third edition over the next couple of years. And one that I'm particularly excited about, not only because the beautiful packaging and the bottle design, but also 50% ABV. You know, you're speaking my kind of language with that.
Yeah. Can you say what the next will be? Are you allowed to?
So that is actually still to be confirmed, but I can tell you that we will have more. We'll have an update on this definitely in the next couple of weeks. What I will say is actually anybody who's interested in kind of keeping a very close eye on Teeling, if you want a sort of an insider source, you can join. There is a Facebook community which is called the Teeling Tribe.
Yep.
Now there's about, I think, close to nearly 1,000 members. It's kind of all diehard Teeling fans. And on the Teeling Tribe, you can find out updates on new releases. I can let you know that there has been a new release literally yesterday. that you can find more information on that there on the Teeling tribe. But also you can find out about new events and new merchandise and whatnot. So if you haven't joined it already, make sure to check it out.
Ja, da könnt ihr mich gerne fragen. Ich bin natürlich auch in dieser Gruppe, kann ich euch eine Einladung schicken. War klar. Whiskey Francis, just asking, Chinkapin is used to finish some bourbons. Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and Scotch as well.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, so Craig Lackey and Jura, both have used Chinkapin in the past. Now, the big difference here, and as I said, for me, what makes this whiskey so special is the combination not just of Chinkapin, but also of pot still.
Yeah. So do you think this would be a nice thing to introduce bourbon drinkers to the Irish whiskey world?
Say that again, sorry?
With the Chinkapin, do you think that there's a chance to treat those bourbon drinkers to introduce them to the Irish whiskey world because of this combination?
Definitely, yeah. And I think because of, like, it was really interesting to hear you say, Sebastian, rye. I personally think rye whiskies and pot still have a lot of similarities. You know, that inherent spice and that kind of dryness. Now, obviously, with pot still, you get a bit more fruitiness. But I think definitely it's going to appeal to a lot of people who drink rye whiskey as well as bourbon. And as we know, there's some amazing rye producers in Germany right now. I think we talked about this the other night. But yeah, like some of my favorite rye producers are based in Germany right now.
We've got some of the best, actually. They're really close to closing the gap to the Americans. I mean, the Americans are still the masters of rye. One has to admit this, but we are so close, and that's kind of surprising when you think about the German single malt. Takes a bit longer, but German rye, there is some good stuff out there, and I'm a huge fan of rye. And I'm very glad to see that the Irish are getting into rye as well. I think there's at least 2 Irish whiskies who try rye. Not as the main component. Oh, 3 now.
Teeling as well. You're forgetting one there, but you're dead right. There's 2 main ones that are commercially available, and there's a couple in the pipeline as well.
Oh, I'm so excited about this. I mean, I'm in contact with Holly anyway, but if you ever bring something out that has rye in it, I'm the one.
Yeah, Kai is the guy about rye. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that's the guy for rye.
Yeah.
Kai, the rye guy.
Faces straight to you.
The rye guy.
The rye guy. I mean, you just need to check out his website. You find rye everywhere.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, guys. Ready to go for the last sample?
No, I tried to stall.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, ihr Lieben, auf zum letzten Sample, Nummer 6. Und ich glaube, schon von der Nase werden es die meisten wissen. I think most of you will know from the nose what it is, as it's peated, and Teeling has just one peated right now. But there are some news later from Chris. There are some interesting news.
Yes, every new Teeling will be peated.
No.
I'm done with Teeling.
Yeah, this is very interesting.
Kai, ich glaube, das ist eine Frage an dich.
I'm conflicted about this question because the rye itself is distilled. It's Sasse. It's not. It doesn't come from Eifel. It's distilled as Sasse. Sasse is an excellent distiller. He knows his stuff, and it's very good whiskey. But I don't like the Eifel guys themselves, so I cannot recommend this in good conscience.
Oh,
warum sagt das jeder?
I have a history of them. I can show you, but I don't want to now.
Kai, are that the guys we are talking about because of the influencer thing?
Yes. He was the one who told Holly that the influencers are doing some silly stuff and they should stop talking.
Yeah. He doesn't want to talk to us because we are stupid, kind of. Yeah, okay, I know. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, don't buy from them. Buy other rye. There's good rye out there. I'm sorry if I'm distracting here from the...
From this wonderful nose.
Yeah.
Der ist sehr dreckig und sehr süß.
Yeah, sweet smoke all the way.
Yeah. I really like it. Chris, most of us are peated, so most of us are happy with the numbers 6. I guess.
I would guess so, yeah. And I think anybody, as I said earlier, who knows Teeling, if you know our peated products, we obviously only have one, as you mentioned. So I'm sure you can probably guess what it is.
Yeah.
I have no idea for one.
You don't?
I don't know any Teeling but the stout before. I didn't beforehand, so.
Oh, so good that you joined the tasting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So first time.
That's the reason why I wanted to join.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I'm kind of the Teeling friend.
Teeling girl.
Yeah, kind of. But I think Teeling was my first Irish distillery I really liked. I was first with Jameson, but I don't like them. Don't know why. And then there was Teeling.
West Cork.
Oh, yeah, I can get it.
When West Cork updated their core range, I tried everything and fell in love with the rum cask finish. The others were nice. All stuff you could always... everyday drams. Nothing too fancy, nothing too special. You can get this at any point in the year and it would be fine.
Yeah,
but the rum cask was very, very lovely for the summer.
True.
And then Bushmills. The 16 is always nice, and the 30-year-old was amazing.
Oh, Chris, will there be any very old bottlings from Teeling, like from the Dublin one at any point of time?
Any old Teelings? As in, like, you mean distilled in Dublin?
Yeah. I mean, I know that's a future point, but obviously. But are there any plans already?
So at the moment, we're still a little bit far off in the sense that our 10-year anniversary is going to be in 2025.
Yeah.
So it'll be great to see a 10-year-old whiskey from Dublin produced at that stage. Obviously, it'll be a decade of making whiskey in the capital, which is quite cool. But you'll still see a lot of our vintage reserve from the old family stock. So, for example, we will be releasing a old age statement. I'll have to be careful what I say, but an old age statement that will most likely come before Christmas. Which I can tell you, I've tried there 2 weeks ago, and is fantastic. You're looking at around 21 years old in total. For that particular release. But I still remember with this whiskey that you have in your glass right now, I still remember when we started distilling this particular product, and the smell is just so prominent. The minute you walk in, like, as we know, it's peated. I think that's not a giveaway.
I've got several herbs like thyme and there's something can't quite grasp it, but it's herbs all the way now. The smoke is less sweet and more herbaceous.
But at the same time, I get some fruitiness, like raspberries and black currants and stuff like that as well in the background.
Interesting. I would go tropically on this.
That's funny. Yeah, with the kind of herbal notes, Sebastian, one that I could suggest is possibly heather.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, like a burning heather. With the smoke in it. Yeah, das could be.
Sebastian, wo wohnst du denn, dass du Heidekraut bei dir in der Nähe hast?
Im Norden.
Ja, also nicht in der Nähe, aber...
Okay, gut, dann nehme ich alles zurück.
Weil auch an
ich muss sehr weit fahren für Heidekraut.
Also ich muss auch bestimmt 2 Stunden fahren, aber also wir sind zwischen Hannover und Bremen.
Okay. Wenn du in Berlin wohnst, musst du nicht weit fahren für Heidekraut. Da musst du in die Pampa gehen, da wächst es doch überall. In Brandenburg.
Ja, aber
das ist Richtung Lübeck.
Da riechen wir aber viele andere Sachen. Aber we're getting again off topic.
Off topic.
Let's go back. No,
so
I think the peat is actually tolerable.
Yeah, Kai is not a peathead. He's not a peathead. I think you're the only one who doesn't like peat as much as the others do.
Yeah. So I would describe it as like a herbal, fruity ashtray. Something like that.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't drink a herbal ashtray?
Depends on what you're smoking.
But not that bad, like the fork or something like that, where you really have the ashtray in your face.
In our younger years, we did roll up tea and smoke that. That was interesting.
We did?
No, we did.
Als du noch jung
We
warst.
did.
Okay.
We did.
When you were younger, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one
We
tea
have one.
actually that I think smells a little bit like this. It's Lapsang Souchong tea, which is a Chinese,
okay.
Yeah,
Chinese
that's
smoked
true.
tea.
Yeah, that's true.
I never heard of this tea before, to be honest.
I did heard
It's
of
very
it.
famous because it is smoked. It has the smokiness that whiskey has as well, so it's very nice, very comparable.
Works very well in drinks as well. So if any of you like a good old fashioned, you can make like a Lapsang Souchong honey cordial or honey syrup. A bit of whiskey, some bitters, stir it down, and you've got a great smoky old fashioned without having a
Cool.
Smoky old fashioned. I haven't tried yet, but smoky whiskey sour is one of my favorite cocktails.
Penicillin. Or you mean a straight up sour?
Just whiskey sour with, well, depends what I'm putting into it. It's just a whiskey sour, but depending on what whiskeys are within reach, I am putting bourbon and smoky scotch in there.
Well, that sounds pretty good.
Cheap bourbon and expensive scotch, sherry, peat scotch.
Okay.
Alright. Wollen wir heute das letzte Mal probieren?
Yeah, let's give it a taste.
Yay!
Okay.
Alright, guys. Danke.
Danke.
We didn't try already? Okay.
Doch.
Okay, Prost.
It's got a nice spiciness. The smoke is sweet again. Got like this cohesive sweetness.
Yeah, but the smoke is actually stronger in the taste than the nose. Like it's really like this tarriness as well. Like it's really strong.
Kai doesn't like it.
Yeah, I was pretty sure of that. I know
Schöner
that.
Straße lecken.
So Kai's the only one who doesn't like it. But that's fine if you don't like it.
Chris, this is nothing against Teeling. It's just that.
It's just
No, and absolutely, I appreciate honesty, which love it or hate it. You know, I think it's whiskey is subjective, and it's the brilliant thing about it.
That's the thing I really made a principle of mine. I try never to lie to anyone in those live streams. If I like it, I will tell them. If I don't, you will notice.
Anyway.
How? How exactly?
What I like is the really long finish, and in the finish I have. It's very weird. I have things like nutmeg and tonka bean in the finish.
I like the
really
nutmeg
great.
one.
Tonka bean is a nice one, and again, similarities with vanilla. The flavor profiles are quite similar.
Like I get the herbs again in the finish, and even though it's not a short finish, it gets drier.
Yeah,
I've got a little bit of bacon in the finish as well.
See, I just can't look at those sheep behind you.
Like honey bacon.
Maybe it's because of that. But I like it. I mean, anyway, every one of you knows, maybe not Sebastian, but it's the Black Pits, and I really love that. It's the first peated one from Teeling, and for me, it's a great entrance for the peated world of whiskey.
Schmeckt ein klein wenig, als hätte ich meinen Bronchialtee geräuchert, aber ich finde gut.
How do you translate that in English? What is Bronchialtee, bitte?
That's the problem.
Medizin studiert, hör mal auf.
Was?
Du hast doch Medizin studiert, woher sollen wir das denn wissen?
Yeah, it's for the lungs.
Yeah,
bronchial.
Like a
Bronchial tea. Like when you're sick. You got the special tea for your lungs.
Kai, und im Medizin rede ich Latein und nicht Englisch.
Wir können doch gerne Latein reden, das macht es für mich auch leichter.
Ja, da kenne ich aber nur die medizinischen Fachwörter.
Ich habe lateinische Texte übersetzt, ich kriege es ja auf die Reihe.
Does the black pits have the phoenix in the back?
The Phoenix, no, funnily enough, so this is one of the few bottles that now it is distilled in Dublin, but the actual Phoenix embossed on the bottles happened after we released this. So it was a logistical nightmare in the sense where people going, is this not distilled in Dublin? And we're like, no, this is 100% distilled in Newmarket Square in the Liberties. But yeah, it doesn't have it on the bottle. It is a beautiful bottle design. We actually had to get a completely work with completely different suppliers because the tube is new, the cork is new, the bottle is completely different. Like if you see in comparison to any of the other Teeling bottles, it's very unique.
I really like that one. And there are some news for everyone who's loving cast strength, as there will be a new black pits. Chris, do you have any more information about that?
I do indeed. Yeah, I saw the question coming up and I was like, somebody obviously knows their stuff. So the great news about this, first and foremost, the black pits, to let you know, this is triple distilled, which I find really interesting because normally peated whiskey is not triple distilled. It's kind of taking an Irish practice and bringing it to peat. And what that's done with this particular whiskey is it's made it a lot more fruit forward. So the peat is not the most dominant thing, and again makes it a great entry into the world of peated whiskey, even for people like Kai who absolutely hate it. I think it's very accessible and very fruit forward. The peat is coming from Glenesk. And with Glenesk peat, it's not going to have that same medicinal and iodine and sort of very very heavy sulfur notes. It's going to be much more of a barbecue, much more of a floral, sort of herbal kind of smoke. And again, that's what I'm delighted to see, Sebastian, you picking up on some of that. In comparison to this style, which again is very unique for peated whiskey, and I think it's why it's been so popular in Germany, we decided to have a follow-up. And that follow-up whiskey, it was just launched yesterday at 11 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, no better time to be drinking cask strength peated whiskey than 11 o'clock in the morning was the rationale. But this is the Teeling Black Pits cask strength, which is now live. It's as I said, just been launched since yesterday. It is, I believe, 56% or 56.1. I could be wrong on that. Maybe triple check. And it is matured exclusively in bourbon barrels and is double distilled as opposed to the black pits, which is triple distilled. So in terms of the ppm for the black pits, we're talking 15 ppm in the final spirit, so very light, very accessible. With the cask strength, it is much higher. So we're because of double distillation, of course. So with this, it is a slightly more limited release for the cask strength. Whereas the black pits, I'm delighted to say, is a core product, so you can get it every single day, of the week, and have no difficulty finding a bottle of black pits in Germany. With the cask strength, there is going to be, I believe, 6,400 bottles.
And will it be available in Germany as well?
Yes. So this will be available in Germany. Let me actually triple check my facts now that I have it here. Sorry, 8,400 bottles. And it's 56.5% ABV.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I just asked Borco if they sell bottles to me, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, cask strength, heavily peated, like what's not to love? Yeah. And I think it was in direct response to how positive people talked about the black pits and how well it was received. And again, as someone who's a lover of not only peated whiskey, but also non-peated whiskey, I was delighted to see that we now have a second edition. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll have mostly peated stuff. You never know with Teeling the direction that it's going to go.
The German market certainly, the German market loves three things. It's peated whiskey, cask strength whiskey, and sherried whiskey. So if you will ever do a a sherry cask finish for the black pits in cask strength. I think
this is gonna sell out in minutes.
Oh yeah.
They would buy this up like crazy. Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm pretty sure of that.
There's always room for a third bottling, isn't there? We can that sherry component.
But I got a question. I mean, why is it only 56.5? I mean, that seems rather low for a whiskey that isn't terribly old at this point.
Yeah, so again, that's it was a choice in terms of our master distiller, what he felt worked best. I've actually tried this sample at a slightly higher ABV, so it's 61.5, which would have been closer, to, let's say, what a lot of the cask strength stuff that you'll see from Teeling most recently is quite high. But yeah, again, it just comes down to the flavor of the whiskey, what we felt worked best at 56.5. And the good news as well is, there is plenty of stock of this. 8,400 bottles only out yesterday.
That's cool. Really nice. I've got 2 more questions from a community member that can't join. Oh yeah, Chris, that's fine. I will write you the questions and then...
No, please ask away. Go away.
Okay,
Yes.
it's just like 2 more. Is the actual single malt from the core range from Dublin, or is it still distilled at Cooley?
Yes, so the single malt now is being distilled in Dublin, which is really interesting to see that transition. Bear in mind, the Cooley distillery was different stills, different fermenters, different people. Trying to replicate a style produced from another facility takes a lot of skill and a lot of trial and error. So it's been very interesting to see the evolution of our core single malt. And again, keep an eye out for that Phoenix on the back of the bottle. And by all means, compare and contrast and see which you prefer. But that now is being distilled in Dublin and will be for the foreseeable future.
Cool. And the last question I have here is there a peated single pot still planned?
Oh God, no.
So I can nor confirm nor deny, but I will say that at Teeling there has been upwards of 24 different experiments with malt. Everything from peated malt to crystal malt, chocolate malt, and that's also extended to a lot of our other unmalted grains. And I will leave it at that without sharing any.
That's great.
But Chris, I think that you can share. Wouldn't you be the first to bring out unmalted barley as a pot still whiskey, which is peated? I'm not sure if there is any.
Peated pot still, there are a couple of distilleries I can tell you who are working on it, as far as I'm aware at the moment.
Yeah, I'm from the consumer point of view, the available stuff.
Commercially available, no, there's nothing commercially available. But again, see, the thing is, within the Irish legislation, you technically couldn't classify it as a single pot still.
Really?
Yes, so there's a little bit of complication when you're using peated malts, as far as I recall. But yeah, again, something that could be very interesting if you think of that sort of spice and the robustness of unmalted barley and peace, what that would give us. I personally love the style of peat that we're using at the moment. As I said, coming from Glenesk, I think works really well with how we make our spirit. For example, that white wine yeast is something that's a big component now in the Dublin whiskies. So, for example, in the pot still, in the single malt, and the black pits, they're all fermented with white wine yeast and distiller's yeast in wooden washbacks. And then, of course, with the types of barrels that we're using for the black pits, it was bourbon and Sauterne wine. And the Sauterne is what gives you that lovely sweetness and red fruits and texture, whereas the cask strength is exclusively bourbon.
I'm always open for experiments. So if you ever bring out a pot still whiskey, so whiskey with unmalted barley that is peated, I would try it. And I can't tell you that I would like it, but I would definitely love to try it.
I'll do you one better. Come on into our distillery, and I'm sure you'll find it somewhere.
I bring Kai next year when I'm visiting.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I let you know, Kai. All right, guys.
What would it be possible, like a finish in a peated cask, like from Lafroig or something else? Would that be possible for a single pot still whiskey?
So the cask, yeah, I'm sure that again, it's something that I know it's used in other styles. Like again, I'm just looking at a bottle of it here. The Three Crowns from Dunville is a great peated whiskey, but it's casks that they've used as opposed to barrels. So I'm sure, yeah, there are kind of loopholes that you can have it peated without using peated malt or without using, you know, the turf itself.
Ja. So, Freunde, Chris muss gleich los. Seine Familie ruft ihn. If there are any more questions, just vote me or Chris, and then we'll figure that out.
One question I have to ask. Sorry, this is just
quickly.
Yes, please go ahead.
No, you know, Bartholomew Teeling.
What?
Bartholomew Teeling was an ancestor of John Teeling, and he was a participant in the Battle of Ballinamuck.
No way.
It doesn't.
I didn't make it up.
I know that.
Colonel Bartholomew Teeling is a direct ancestor of John Teeling, and he was a participant in the Battle of Ballinamuck in 1789, which is quite important actually, because it was the last battle when the Irish fought together with the French against the British for the liberation of Ireland, and I think this deserves a special bottle.
I studied history, so don't worry about that knowledge. It doesn't surprise me at all, but yeah, I'm totally with Kyle. That deserves a special bottle.
Please send me that story, and I will do my best to make it happen, because that's an amazing story.
I have contact with Holly. I will pass it along.
Yeah,
that's Bartholomew Teeling. I mean, Bartholomew Teeling is quite important. He's known as Colonel Teeling for most of the time.
Great name for whiskey, Colonel Teeling.
Yes,
I love that. That's cool.
Sounds rather American. Yeah, I know. Holly knows me. She knows when she invited me that I'm a little nerdy, but
I love that.
In this regard, so yeah, you have to endure it now.
Absolutely. No, pleasure.
I mean, most of the facts you are telling Kai are interesting, so that's pretty good. All right, but if there are any more questions, just email me or Chris on Instagram. I think that's fine. And Chris, thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem. It was my pleasure. And as I said, it means we can start the bank holiday early. And thank you everyone for joining. And yeah, just to reiterate, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'll more than happily give you a bit more information on Teeling.
Perfekt. Freunde, ihr bleibt noch online, weil es gibt noch eine Umfrage.
All right.
Alles klar. Chris, thank you so much. I will do a quick survey and email you the results if you're interested.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I'd love to read them.
Awesome. Then have a great evening and thank you so much.
See you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, nicht wundern, Chris' Familie hat gesagt, hier.
Uff,
Bis das weiter so fertig wirst.
Was jetzt schon?
Also ich würde jetzt gerne noch eine Flasche Colonel Teeling kaufen.
Bei denen ist erst 10:15. Was ist da los?
11:15. Wir haben schon wir haben 11:15, sorry, ja, stimmt.
Ja, die haben 10:15.
Ja, keine Ahnung, aber ich meine, über 2 Stunden, dass er sich die Zeit nimmt, ist ja sowieso
Ja, natürlich,
nett.
klar, kein Ding.
Ja, und das war auch toll. Also es war wirklich schön, dass er mit dabei war. Und der hat ja wirklich alles geantwortet und der war ja auch wirklich involviert. Also ich habe andere Tastings gehabt, wo die Brand Ambassadors oder auch die Master Distiller nicht so begeistert waren. Ich sage jetzt keine Namen, aber
ich weiß, wen du meinst.
Ja, wir wissen, glaube ich, alle, wen wir meinen, aber das war heute wirklich schön.
Nein, aber er hatte mir gerade geschrieben, deswegen habe ich das jetzt gerade auch ein bisschen kürzer gemacht. Wir haben ja zwischendurch viele Fragen gestellt. Auch echt nochmal generell danke an euch. Ich meine, wir sind noch nicht fertig. Ich poste nochmal gerade die Online-Umfrage, weil mich würde nämlich auch interessieren, was euer Favorite war. Ich habe eine Vermutung. aber es würde mich trotzdem interessieren. Da hat er mir gerade geschrieben, Family is calling. Und jetzt, aber wir hatten ja zwischendrin wirklich viele gute Fragen. Also echt danke an euch vor als auch hinter der Kamera. War echt Mega interessant, die Fragen. Vieles wusste ich auch noch nicht. Kai, du hast den Vogel sowieso abgeschossen, wie immer.
Das
Aber
hast du
super.
befürchtet, als du mich eingeladen hast. Das ist,
Nein, ich habe es gehofft. Weil das macht halt auch spannend. Ich wusste das gar nicht. Voll gut.
Das ist das Einzige, was ich deswegen weiß, aber...
Ich find's geil, ich liebe dein Gehirn, das ist schon gut. Und ja, Rüdiger schreibt, Chris ist wirklich Feuer und Flamme für sein Whisky, das merkt man auch, egal wie oft ich mit ihm zu tun habe, der brennt einfach für Teeling und genau, ist sehr sympathisch. Man versteht ihn gut, auch wenn es nur Englisch ist. aber ich
mag Englisch.
Cool, ja. Und ich will ihn jetzt echt mal, ich bin nächstes Jahr wirklich in Dublin, also wer mich begleiten möchte, da werde ich mit Chris auf jeden Fall interessante Teeling-Sachen drehen in der Brennerei. Ich sag dem oder derjenigen gerne Bescheid, die mitkommen möchten. Das kriegen wir hin.
Ich habe übrigens das gemacht, was ich jedes Mal mache. Ich habe alle Reste zusammengeschüttet und probiere
jetzt
das.
bin ich gespannt. Ich bin gespannt, was rauskommt.
Was ich super interessant finde, ist, dass halt der Schwefel mit dem Rauch relativ gut funktioniert und so ein bisschen in den Hintergrund rückt.
Ja.
Der Rauch kommt aber gar nicht mehr so doll durch. Also es ist relativ würzig, kräutrig geworden.
Ach, das bin ich spannend.
Ich brauche keine Sonderabfüllung. Mir würde es reichen, wirklich, wenn diese Abfüllung zur Schlacht von Ballinamuk kommt. Das würde mir schon reichen.
Das wäre so geil.
Und ich brauche meinen Namen da nicht drauf. Das ist okay.
Reicht, wenn sie dir die erste Flasche schicken.
Ja, genau.
Also
ich melde mich jetzt schon an. Aber Kai, schreib Chris das wirklich mal. Ich finde das auch total interessant.
Ich bin ein bisschen schockiert, dass er das nicht wusste. Ich meine, ich weiß nicht viel über Teeling, aber ich weiß das.
Ich glaube aber, das wissen viele bei Teeling nicht. Ich bin mir nicht mal sicher, ob John Teeling das weiß.
Der weiß es vielleicht schon, aber es hat ja nicht jeder Teeling-Mitarbeiter die Familiengeschichte in den letzten 300 Jahren auf dem Schirm.
Also,
kennst du nicht die Familiengeschichte von deinem Chef?
Ich bin auch mal dafür, dass Kai und Volker sich in der Tora treffen, weil ihr beide werdet sowieso voll krass. Was euer Wissen betrifft. Und Andreas, tut mir leid, ich habe echt versucht, das auf Deutsch und Englisch zu machen, aber man verfällt automatisch, wenn Chris die ganze Zeit Englisch redet, so ein bisschen ins Englische. Sonst einfach beim nächsten Mal dazwischen fragen. Ich bin sicher, das wird nicht der letzte Stream mit Chris sein. Da
und man muss ja auch sagen, also man kann wirklich, also Andreas, man kann wirklich mal froh sein, dass wir so einen mitteilungsbedürftigen Brand Ambassador haben, der wirklich so viel sprechen wollte. Und je mehr man den involviert, indem man eben in das Englische reingeht, desto besser ist das auch. Also das ist natürlich an der Stelle für diejenigen, die nur Deutsch sprechen, schwierig, aber trotzdem ist es schön, mal diesen Brand Ambassador zu haben und im Laufe der Zeit, ich meine, ich glaube, die gute Stimmung hast du auch so mitbekommen. Ich glaube, das ist keine Frage.
Wobei wir haben ja, glaube ich, dadurch, dass auch viele Deutsch im Chat geschrieben haben, glaube ich, ist es hoffentlich trotzdem einigermaßen gut gewesen aus der Mischung.
Ich glaube, die Kombi war einfach besser, weil oft ist es halt so, wenn du es halt nur auf Englisch hast und nicht zwischendurch mal jemand Deutsch redet, verlierst du halt viele, die dann halt nicht mitkommen, die das vielleicht gar nicht verstehen, die damit gar nichts anfangen können und dann ist das halt auch eher langweilig für viele zuzuschauen. Ich kann das total verstehen. Deswegen finde ich das halt cooler, wenn wir es halt zwischendurch mal so ein bisschen switchen. Aber ich gebe dir total recht, wenn man da einfach mal ihn reden lässt und so, finde ich es total cool. Also wirklich. Selten jemand so sprachfreudigen gehört von der Distille, wirklich.
Ja, total. Und ich finde, du merkst halt, er brennt für seinen Job schon. Ich kenne ihn ja jetzt auch schon seit, Kai, wie lange kennen wir ihn jetzt schon vom Club? Bestimmt 3-4 Jahre.
Na, so lange bin ich noch nicht im Club, aber okay.
Okay, dann kenne ich ihn 3-4 Jahre.
Doch 4 Jahre. Doch 4 Jahre könnten es sein.
4 Jahre, ich meine auch, ja.
Und 4 Jahre sind es dann,
glaube ich, das erste, ja. Und Rüdiger, können wir gerne drüber reden, wenn ich meine Masterarbeit fertig habe, dann können wir das gerne machen. Dann nehme ich euch alle mit.
Ich kann mit der Holly aktuell auch nicht reden.
Was? Warum?
Du hast immer so viel zu tun gerade. Das ist immer schwierig. Wenn man mal von dir was will und dich mal anschreibt, dann kriegt man erst nach 3 Tagen eine Antwort gefühlt.
Ja, Sascha, das ist richtig so. Holly muss jetzt ihren Abschluss kriegen. Sorry, Holly.
Ja, alles gut.
Ohne Abschluss keine Irlandreise. Okay, das ist doch eine Motivation.
Genau.
Na, irgendwann muss es sein.
Aber es dauert noch ein Jahr, tut mir leid. Also das ist Regelstudienzeit, geht noch ein Jahr. Und ich habe Statistik vor mir und ich bin echt schlecht in Statistik. Aber gut, nehmen wir dann.
Das kriegen wir alles hin. Aber du brauchst einen Abschluss. Sonst
Ich würde
kann ich dich nicht mehr ernst nehmen, sorry. Das ist,
alles klar. Rüdiger schreibt noch, dass Chris ein sehr, sehr gutes Englisch gesprochen hat. Absolute Wohltat, habe viel mit Indern und Chinesen zu tun. Oh, das kann ich mir vorstellen. Ja, absoluter Kampf, da irgendwas zu verstehen, das kenne ich leider auch. Und ich poste nochmal zum letzten Mal unseren Online-Fragelink und würde euch bitten, das mal auszufüllen. Ich muss mal gucken, wie
Schon längst erledigt.
Ja, klar, schon alles ausgefüllt.
Oh, wir haben auch schon ein paar. Ja, ist okay, sorry. Warte. Da. Hä, wo sehe ich das denn?
Oh. Alles
abgestürzt.
Alles nochmal von vorne.
Oh nee, bitte nicht.
Weiß doch meine Reihenfolge nicht mehr.
Nee, die haben dieses Design geändert. Und ich sehe zwar, dass Leute mitgemacht haben, aber ich sehe nicht mehr das Ergebnis. Hä, das kann doch gar nicht sein. Ach so, ich sollte vielleicht auf Resultate anzeigen gehen. Das könnte helfen.
Ja. Besser wäre das.
Da, wartet. Hä, aber die haben nicht mehr diese Übersicht, wo ich sehe. Warte mal. Ah, okay, die haben das jetzt ganz versteckt. Krass. Okay, wir sind safe. Alles klar. Fangen wir mal mit Platz 6 an. Was glaubt ihr denn?
Die 2.
Das war der Rosé. Andere Meinungen? Ihr seid falsch.
Was? Nee, der Rosé ist nicht auf dem letzten Platz. Krass.
Nein.
Der war doch gar nicht so schlecht, der war halt nur schwefelig.
Ja, ich vergesse immer, wir sind in Deutschland, da ist Schwefel erwünscht.
Ja, genau.
So, eine Raterunde habt ihr noch?
Na, ich weiß nicht. Also ich fand es schwierig, die waren alle relativ nah beieinander. Also da kann man jetzt
nicht sagen, die auch alle lecker.
Und tief, schlimm und die anderen waren. Also gut, der World of Wood, oder wie heißt es ja, der Tinkerpin.
World of Warcraft.
Herausragend. Ja.
Ich bin sehr froh, dass ich nicht der Einzige bin, der diese Assoziation hat.
Aber ehrlich, wo du es dann gesagt hast, stimmt, wo ich das geschrieben habe, dachte ich, oh ja, könnt ihr auch mal wieder spielen.
WoW.
World of Warcraft, genau.
Also, die Leute hier, die einschreiben, also der Small Batch, ihr habt recht, das ist tatsächlich auf Platz 6 gelandet und zwar auch mit. Ja, es ist knapp hinter Nummer 5 tatsächlich. Es war ein sehr enges Kopf-an-Kopf-Rennen. Aber gut.
Das überrascht mich aber auch, weil ich fand den, also.
Ja, die
Small
Batch war voll geil.
Also, ich finde tatsächlich, dass der Small Batch tatsächlich den Distillerie-Charakter wirklich hervorragend rüberbringt. Also, das gefällt mir bei Teeling wirklich ganz ausgezeichnet und ist einer der wenigen, das muss ich auch nochmal sagen, das hatten wir ja letztens, ich weiß gar nicht, ob du dabei warst beim Betts-Tasting, Holly.
Nein,
das stimmt, da warst du ja nicht da, weil du Uni hattest, genau. Sehr gut, finde ich gut.
Schade, gut so.
Ich hätte nichts sagen sollen, ey. Oh Gott, jetzt no pressure.
Aber ist richtig, nee, und wir hatten wieder mal das Thema, Rumfinishes sind oft sehr schwierig. Und das ist ein sehr gelungenes Rumfinish, muss ich echt sagen.
Absolut.
Das finde ich auch.
Ja, wobei ich jetzt nicht sagen würde, der Distillerie-Charakter, weil als Blend, also ich meine, ich sag mal so, die Distillerie-Idee, würde ich sagen, repräsentiert er. Weil ich weiß auch nicht, ob das wirklich auch schon, der Grain ist sicher nicht von Teeling und ob der Single Malt da drin ist von Teeling, ist auch die Frage, ich weiß nicht. Aber
ist der nicht von Teeling? Machen die nicht ihren eigenen Mais?
Oh, das weiß ich gar nicht.
Ich glaube nicht, dass
die eine Grain Distillery haben. Ich wüsste es nicht. Also,
interessant, ich meine,
müsste man mal
schwierig ist es ja nicht, deswegen eine interessante Frage.
Aber ich stimme dir zu, dass es quasi, es ist ja auch so eine Idee, die dahinter steht, die ist natürlich dann schon repräsentativ, aber eben, würde ich sagen, Distillerie-Charakter, weil der Grain, ja, die machen keinen Grain in Dublin, garantiert nicht.
Nee, noch nicht zumindest. Mal sehen, was kommt. Aber das war auf jeden Fall dicht gefolgt von Platz Nummer 5. Habt ihr da eine Vermutung? Also es waren nur 2 Stimmen Unterschied.
Jetzt die 2.
Das war der Riesling, ne? Ja, richtig.
Ja.
Korrekt. Ja. Riesling ist auf Platz Nummer 5.
Wobei der auch nicht so, der ist ja auch gut, aber was immer
ja gut, ich glaube, hier ist es halt wieder so ein Tasting, wo gar nichts richtig schlecht war und die Leute müssen sich jetzt einfach entscheiden, was halt deren Favorit war. Ne? Also ich glaube, Platz 6 sagt ja nicht, war total mies, wie wir das in anderen Tastings ja schon hatten, wo du echt gesagt hast, so, sondern das ist jetzt einfach die Reihenfolge nach deinem persönlichen Geschmack, aber richtig schlecht war nichts, würde ich auch sagen.
Nein, also definitiv nicht. Und übrigens, ich möchte mich bei Rüdiger bedanken, nettes Kompliment.
Oh, Mensch, habe ich gar nicht gesehen. Gut, dass du es sagst. Siehste, sag ich doch. Check mal seine Website aus. Richtig tolle Artikel und auch andere Artikel. Also es ist nicht dieses Mainstream-Blabla. Ja, ist ja so. Was man so auf dem Schirm hat. Ich lese das echt sehr gerne, gerade wenn ich meine 1,5 Stunden zur Uni fahre, ist es halt echt immer, ja, es ist halt wirklich gut. Also von daher, und ich mag auch einfach deinen Schreibstil, aber das sage ich mir jedes Mal, also von daher.
Ja, also ich freue mich eher, dass die doch sehr irren Sachen, die ich da beschreibe, tatsächlich doch noch ihre Fans finden. Ich glaube, das ist geil. Also mein Lieblingsartikel dieses Jahr, ich sage das immer wieder, aber ich kann es noch wiederholen, war der Artikel über die Angriffe der deutschen Luftwaffe auf schottische Brennereien.
Das war krass. Der Artikel war...
Was? Was haben wir gemacht? Unglaublich.
Lies das mal, das ist ein wunderbar, also das ist wirklich der Stolz dieses Jahres, muss ich echt sagen.
Kann ich nachvollziehen. Ist wirklich gut.
Insofern vielen Dank und ich danke auch immer Holly, dass ich bin kein YouTuber, also ich habe tatsächlich, ich schreibe lieber, ich mag das geschriebene Wort, deswegen bin ich auch nicht so oft vor der Kamera, aber ich finde es sehr nett, dass Holly mir die Gelegenheit gibt, es hier heute nachholen zu können.
Wir hatten schon ganz oft das Thema, dass wir noch einen YouTube-Kanal mit diesem historischen Tab brauchen. Weil das macht keiner von uns. Ja, musst du mal machen.
Okay.
Musst du wohl jetzt leider starten.
Okay, gut, ist beschlossen.
Genau, du hast keine Chance.
Genau, jetzt nicht so wie Rike, ne? Nächste Woche fange ich an und dann kommt Liebert.
3 Jahre später.
Genau. Was ist eigentlich mit dem YouTube-Kanal von Fräulein Scotch?
Ja, ist immer noch. Ja. Rike, sag mal was dazu. Echt.
Die habe ich letztens getroffen, aber.
Die ist doch mega nett. Die ist ja bei dir in der Ecke.
Nein, du musst immer, wenn du die triffst, danach fragen, wann der YouTube-Kanal kommt.
Und Flop, das kann ich bestätigen, keine polnischen Staffeln. Die sind.
Krass.
Die sind da nicht so weit im Norden eingesetzt gewesen.
Rüdiger, was soll ich machen? Ich bin verwirrt. Soll Kai jetzt YouTube... Ja, ne? Kai soll YouTube machen. Ja. Finde ich auch. Ich beziehe das jetzt mal da drauf.
Ja.
Was glaubt ihr denn, was Nummer 4 ist? Oder Platz 4, nicht Nummer 4, Platz 4.
Dark Porter?
Ich würde auch sagen, die Nummer 4.
Ihr seid gut. Yes, es ist der Dark Porter. Da, guck, Kai. Rüdiger wäre auch sehr dafür.
Okay.
Aber wartet mal, da wir ja alle so, Moment, dann poste ich mal kurz die Website von dir, wenn wir schon dabei sind.
Ich glaube, das sieht man in meinem Namen, also Dr. Whisky.
So sagt er.
Ja, ist doch
ja, ich wollte gerade sagen.
Kannst auch
mach mal den Kommentar wieder weg.
Ey, du kannst den Kommentar gerne schreiben, aber es ist...
Hä, was hast du denn geschrieben?
drwhisky.de, ja, das ist meine Website.
Ja, steht doch da.
Ja, wollte gerade sagen. Ich habe es trotzdem noch mal hingeschrieben. Mein Gott.
Ich danke dir auch für jede Publicity dankbar.
Stimmt, da war der Kai auch dabei bei dem New Mac Tasting. Ja, du warst. Ja, genau.
Wir waren ordentlich angetüdelt. Kann man jetzt mal so sagen.
Boah, aber kein Wunder bei diesem New Mac Tasting. Da waren wir alle echt gut dabei.
Und da war Hadrian dabei. Hadrian und ich. Ich habe ihn jetzt in Berlin wieder getroffen. Wenn wir beide zusammen sind, das ist echt.
Was, wen denn jetzt?
Nichts mehr.
Rike? Rike oder wen meinst du?
Hadrian.
Ach so.
Der war mit New Mac Tasting auch dabei. Wenn
Hadrian auf, ja.
Dann ist da wirklich, dann ist Land unter.
Dann ist vorbei. Das habe ich in Greiz auch gemerkt. Ey. Gut, dass wir keinen Stand nebeneinander hatten. Das kommt nächstes Jahr. Oh mein Gott, das wird so.
Frankfurt.
Ja, also alle, Sascha, wir müssen noch nach Frankfurt. Der ganze Club ist da.
Yep.
Ja, freitags kann ich, glaube ich, nur.
Ja, ich glaube, die meisten von uns sind Freitag da auch, ne? Glaube ich, am 3.12. oder was das war.
Mhm.
Ich muss mal eben. Nee, warte. An dem Wochenende kann ich gar nicht.
Das ist schlecht, da muss ich mit zukommen, das ist auch okay.
Das Wochenende kommt. Weißt du eigentlich, wie viel Streams da sind an dem Wochenende? Das ist so krass.
Ja, aber Club ist auch wichtig. Egal. Können wir da noch ausdiskutieren.
Diese Messe ist wichtig. Also ist
Nein.
Aber Interwhisky war echt langweilig.
Interwhisky war die langweiligste Messe, auf der ich je gewesen bin.
Ja.
Das mag sein, aber ist trotzdem die größte.
Ja, vielleicht macht sie das auch zur langweiligsten. Genau deswegen.
Ja. Es ist halt mehr so eine Endverbrauchermesse, was total cool ist, aber es ist nicht unbedingt für Nerds geeignet.
Genau. Es ist keine Whisky-Nerd-Messe.
Was für Nerds geeignet war, nicht lange her, Anfang September, die BCB, Da dürfte ich mit dem Urenkel von Jim Beam seine Bückware trinken. Also,
so geil, ich bin immer noch so neidisch und dachte, ich wollte
so ein Hammer gewesen.
Ja gut, da kommen wir ja nicht hin in der Regel.
Naja, aber das sollten wir nächstes Jahr vielleicht mal einrichten, dass wir da hinkommen.
Jupp.
Aber es ist echt, was die Frankfurter Whisky halt ausmacht, ist das Clubtreffen im Irish Pub danach. Wo keiner mehr weiß, was so genau passiert. Aber gut.
Da bin ich ja da, um dafür zu sorgen, dass es ruhig abläuft.
Aha, habe ich letztes Mal gemerkt. Ruhig ablaufen, ist klar. Egal, was ist auf Platz Nummer 3, bitte?
Die 3.
Halbes Hähnchen.
Ihr seid wirklich gut heute. Ja, es ist der Rosé, korrekt.
Krass.
Hättet ihr es erwartet?
Aber bei 2 und 1 bin ich jetzt unsicher.
Ich habe den auf Platz 6 gesehen.
Aber du magst auch keinen Schwefel.
Doch, ich mag Schwefel, aber hat so viel Schwefel, dass das halt nicht mehr so nice ist.
Ich fand ihn gar nicht so krass vom Schwefel.
Und Sascha, wenn du den aus dem Sample trinkst, ist dann immer noch Platz 6?
Nee, aus dem Sample würde ich den tatsächlich vermutlich auch so auf Platz 3 oder 4 einsortieren. Da hast du recht.
Das wird ein neuer Trend, ich sag's euch.
Aber es ist wirklich krass, weil jeder sagt, also mir sagen die Leute immer, Sascha, der Whisky muss lange atmen, dann geht der Schwefel weg. Aber es ist immer genau das Gegenteil. Desto länger du den stehen lässt, desto krasser wird der Schwefel. Ich habe es noch nicht andersrum erlebt.
Das stimmt allerdings, da muss ich dir aber recht geben. So. 2 und 1. Also, wir haben tatsächlich deutliche Unterschiede zwischen 2 und 1 und ich bin gespannt, was ihr sagt. Was glaubt ihr denn ist auf Platz 2?
Finde ich total schwierig, weil das eine Ding hat Rauch und das andere war besser.
Genau so würde ich das auch beschreiben.
Ja, aber ihr müsst eine Entscheidung treffen. 50-50.
Platz 2 eindeutig Black Pits und Platz 1 definitiv der Chinker-Pin.
Würde da jeder mitgehen?
Ja, würde ich auch sagen.
Ich würde es auch vermuten.
Die 5
Habt ihr
wird
auch
auf
recht,
Platz
und
1
zwar
sein.
tatsächlich mit Abstand. Es sind wirklich sehr viele Stimmen dazwischen. Black Pits auf 2 und Chinkepin auf 1. Aber ich habe mich so gefreut, dass das mit dem Chinkepin noch geklappt hat. Da habe ich mit Borco noch ein bisschen gehandelt, dass sie uns das mit zuschicken, weil ich mir so sicher war, dass die meisten von euch das geil finden. Und ich lag richtig. Das freut mich sehr. Das freut mich sehr.
Und ich persönlich bin total happy, dass wirklich, also erstens mal Virgin Oak gut ankommt. Das ist die eine Sache, die ich mag.
Stimmt,
Und
okay.
zweitens dann eben das ungemälzte Getreide auch wirklich gut ankommt. Also dieses Pot-Still-Style, was eben das Irische ausmacht. Da hat der Chris völlig recht. Das ist wirklich das Urirische. Und das ist jetzt mit so einem genialen Virgin Oak kombiniert worden ist, mit dem Chinkerpin, was eben nicht so oft ist. Und dass es so gut ankommt, also das zeigt mir, da sollten vielleicht Leute, die normalerweise sagen, mache ich nicht, ihren Horizont vielleicht erweitern.
Ja.
Und das zeigt es, glaube ich, heute.
Ich bin wirklich sehr gespannt, was da noch kommen wird bei dieser Wonders of Wood Serie, weil ich glaube, das wird noch sehr spannend werden.
Der Name allein ist geil. Ich liebe Holz. Also Wonders of Wood.
Marketing auch bei Hashtag. Ich sag dir, da sind wir beide, oder die 3 hier oben in einer Reihe, da sind wir alle gleich. Das muss man halt echt sagen. Wir sind echt Marketingopfer. Aber
bei
gut,
dem Preis ist auch fast egal, ob der Whisky schmeckt, bei der Box, die dabei ist.
Ich finde auch 75 € finde ich jetzt auch vom PLV okay.
Fair enough,
ja, ist in Ordnung. Wie gesagt, den Old Pulteney, den ich jetzt hatte, oder auch den Lager Wuling für 95 €, ja, nee, sorry. Also lecker, ja, aber zu teuer.
Ja, du wolltest den Old Pulteney auch zuerst haben.
Ja, habe ich auch.
Ja, wird es dann auch teuer, das ist halt so.
Ja, der ist auch inzwischen ausverkauft in Frankreich. Zumindest da, wo ich es bestellt habe.
Okay.
Und der sollte eigentlich seit dem 3.10. auch schon in Deutschland sein, aber irgendwie kommt da noch nichts. Aber gucken wir mal. Ja, also mich wundert es nicht, dass der WoW gewonnen hat. Sowohl das Spiel, was mich darin erinnert, auch als auch der Whisky. Beides toll und ich bin wirklich gespannt, was uns da noch erwartet. Und natürlich, jetzt auf Platz 2 bezogen, wird der neue Black Pits auch kommen. Ne? Also das ist ja wohl mal ganz klar.
Und ich habe das übrigens vorhin ernst gemeint. Die müssen den Black Pits wirklich mal in den Sherry-Pass packen und dann wird sich das hier Ding wegverkaufen wie irre.
Ja, das glaube ich auch. Vielleicht kommt es ja wirklich noch. Also ich glaube schon, dass Chris das mitnimmt. Ob, wie, was, wann, wo, werden wir sehen. Aber ja, ich glaube, das wäre eine gute Kombination generell. Würde ich auch sagen. So, wartet, ich poste jetzt noch den Link zur After schon, dann, nachdem mir einige gefragt haben. Moment. Lalala, da. Copy and Paste. Jetzt habe ich einen Ohrwurm, danke Sebastian. Poste ich natürlich auch gleich nochmal in die Gruppe, aber so haben es schon mal die anderen. Und jetzt gucken wir nochmal kurz, welche weiteren Termine hier auf uns zukommen. Dieses Wochenende bin ich auf der Aquavite. Ich weiß, die meisten von euch werde ich da sehen, da freue ich mich sehr drauf. Obwohl die meisten hier aus dem Chat leider nicht, weil Sascha ist ja anderweitig beschäftigt und ihr anderen wohnen leider zu weit weg. Echt schade, aber...
Ich finde es halt krass, dass der Aquavite so seit dem Süden macht. Also, nur so als Hinweis.
Ich sag dem Thilo Bescheid. Dann am 2.11. haben Sascha, Mareike und ich hier nochmal einen Stream und stellen das Irish Whisky Wochenende nochmal ein bisschen kurz vor. Und ich kann euch sagen, es gibt was zu gewinnen. Also schaltet ein.
Ein Fahrrad.
Ein Klappfahrrad.
Ein halbes Hähnchen.
Ein halbes, ja, mit Pommes.
Oder die Essenz.
Oder die, oh nee, die will man nicht gewinnen, aber gut. Bubblegum, lecker, lecker. Genau, am 14.12. haben wir hier ein Mini-Christmas Edition Tastings, da sind noch Sets frei. Dann haben wir am 30.12. irgendwas mit Schnitzel. Erfahrt ihr dann.
Skeptisch.
Da sind keine Sets mehr frei. Bestimmt nur wegen Schnitzel. Am 13.01. wird es vermutlich ein New Make und Whisky Tasting geben. Also New Make und dann der Whisky, woraus der New Make gemacht wurde. Nee, der aus diesem New Make gemacht wurde, dann direkt hinterher. Am 3.3. machen wir ein Rum-Tasting wegen euch. Ich hätte es nicht gemacht, aber die Community hat gefragt, also ihr seid schuld. Ich weiß nicht, ob das gut wird, aber sehen wir dann. Und am 21.3. krass, schon wieder so weit ins nächste Jahr, aber Sascha hat noch weiter geplant.
Ich wollte gerade sagen, ich bin schon im Mai oder im Juni.
Ja. Machen wir ein Frühlingstasting. Also von daher, ich habe noch keine Ahnung, was, wie, wo, aber hier in der Gruppe werdet ihr auf dem Laufenden gehalten. Wer keine Ahnung hat, von welcher Gruppe ich rede, schreibt mir oder Sascha, dann packen wir euch in die irre Welt. Wenn ihr das möchtet. Genau, Sascha, du hast auch noch Termine. Willst du auch noch mal kurz einhaken?
Ach, die habe ich jetzt nicht alle auswendig auf Kette. Nächste Woche Freitag bin ich bei Hubble. Dann bin ich am Samstag. Genau, Samstag nächste Woche haben wir das Aaron Blind Vertical Tasting. Ich glaube, da freuen sich auch schon viele drauf.
Was haben wir da?
Ja. Die Holly macht da ja leider nicht mit, weil die sitzt da schon im Flieger.
Da bin ich schon im Flieger, ja.
Dann haben wir am 15. und am 17.11. die Special Releases 2022. Die haben wir aufgeteilt auf 2 Tastings, weil 8 Stück jetzt in Fassstärke unter der Woche fand ich ein bisschen krass. Deswegen haben wir 2 Termine. Was haben wir denn noch? Boah, das sind so viele Sachen, die muss ich mal alle anklicken eigentlich.
Auf jeden Fall zwischen Weihnachten und Neujahr haben wir jeden Tag irgendwas.
Genau, also zwischen Weihnachten und Neujahr geht es richtig ab. Ne? Haben wir Tasteful 8 mit Marco Bonn vom Brüder Whisky Haus. Ja, also da kommt eine ganze Menge noch. Ne? Schaut
und der Rüdiger sagt schon, was haben wir am Montag? Natürlich das Halloween-Tasting bei Sascha auf dem Kanal. Es wird lustig.
Habe ich ganz vergessen schon wieder. So
ich habe auch total vergessen. Oh Gott. Also Sascha und ich sind auf jeden Fall verkleidet. Das wird lustig.
Und es gibt was
das Aaron-Tasting?
Hä?
Wann ist das Aaron-Tasting? Ich habe total vergessen, dass ich auch ein Set habe.
Nächste Woche Samstag.
Gut, dass du sagst.
Gut, dass wir drüber gesprochen haben.
Ich hätte total vergessen.
Okay, ansonsten war mega, dass wir so viele Leute auch mal vor der Kamera waren. Kai, ja.
309 gucke ich nach, aber die haben keine abgefangen. Also da wurde keine Bombe von der 309 abgefangen. Also ich gucke nochmal nach, ob die 309 da doch noch irgendwie zumindest vor Abfangeinsätze aktiv war. Das könnte sogar sein für Glasgow, also für die gegen Glasgow Clydebank. Das könnte sogar sein, aber erwischt haben die keinen. Ich gucke es trotzdem nochmal nach. Also,
sehr cool.
Sorry, wenn schon jemand sich die Mühe macht, das nachzufragen, dann möchte ich da antworten.
Dann kannst du mir auch gerne schreiben, ich leite ihm das weiter, das ist kein Problem. Nee, aber auch echt danke an die Leute jetzt mit vor der Kamera. War cool, dass das so viel und so voll war, sonst hätten wir, glaube ich, nicht diese coole Dynamik gehabt, dass es so viel Spaß gemacht hat. Natürlich auch danke an euch hinter der Kamera. Im Chat war so viel los, viele tolle Fragen. Ohne euch wäre das überhaupt gar nicht so interaktiv gewesen. Es hat mir sehr viel Spaß gemacht. Ich habe auch über Teeling echt viele neue Sachen erfahren, hätte ich nicht gedacht. voll gut. Also danke an alle und natürlich haben die Gäste, Gesundheit wie immer, das letzte Schlusswort. Wer möchte starten? Kein nicht.
Danke, Kai.
Sebastian, sonst fang du doch einfach an.
Tschüss.
Genau.
Wow, wie kreativ.
Kurz und knackig.
Ja, ist okay. Olli, wie war es für dich so das erste Mal im Livestream?
Ja, war cool. War auch, wie du sagst, eine schöne Dynamik und ich fand auch gut, dass du für die Nicht-Englisch-Sprecher das alles ein bisschen schön hier quasi simultan zusammengefasst hast. Vielen Dank.
Hätte besser laufen können, aber Dankeschön. Volker, freut mich auch, dass du da am Start warst, obwohl du Sample Nummer 4 zerbrochen hast, aber ich hoffe, du hattest trotzdem Spaß.
Ja, natürlich. Ist so was passiert halt. Also ich fand es cool, dass eben Chris da war und man dann mit dem toll reden konnte. Ich fand auch die Dynamik interessant und ich fand, Sascha war unglaublich still.
Ja, das ist, glaube ich, jedem aufgefallen heute Abend. Das war auch schon im Chat, Sascha, was ist mit dir? Ist mit dir alles okay? Was ist da los?
Ja, Englisch ist halt nicht so mein Steckenpferd, ne?
Ja, aber du hättest ja Holly als Übersetzerin benutzen können.
Ja.
Ach, alles gut. War doch okay. Nächstes Mal, ihr wisst doch, sonst raste ich mehr aus.
Ja, okay.
Ich hoffe, es lag jetzt nicht am Whisky.
Nein, überhaupt nicht. Ich habe ja gesagt, was mir nicht geschmeckt hat und was ich gut fand.
Das stimmt. Aber ich rede, glaube ich, jetzt nur noch mit Sascha auf Englisch und der darf nur noch auf Englisch antworten. Dann haben wir das.
Wir waren jetzt Englischkurs für Sascha.
Ne.
Geil. Sascha, willst du noch sonst irgendwas an Schlussworten hier verlieren?
Ja, war cool heute, würde ich mal sagen. Ne? War lustig. Nächstes Mal raste ich halt dann mehr aus, wenn ihr das möchtet. Ich weiß, ich kann ausrasten auch da, aber ja, war auf jeden Fall eine coole Nummer, hat Spaß gemacht. Ich habe alles mitgekriegt, das war, glaube ich, wichtig.
Das ist schon mal gut.
Und ja, ich freue mich aufs nächste Mal, auf Montag.
Ja, freue ich mich auch sehr drauf tatsächlich. Das wird ein Massaker, aber gut, das wird schon schief gehen.
Klar, das wird lustig.
Vorne und Kürbis, aber egal. Kai, dir gebühren die allerletzten Schlussworte hier.
Einerseits bin ich sehr dankbar, dass ich mit dabei sein durfte.
Jetzt kommt noch ein Aber.
Eine schöne Runde. Also es war eine wunderbare Runde, die mir sehr gefallen hat. Chris Teeling hat wirklich alles gegeben. Ich denke, wir haben ihm auch alles zurückgegeben, was wir hatten. Ich denke, wir hatten alle unseren Spaß heute. Und besser kann es eigentlich gar nicht laufen. Also wir haben ehrliches, grundgutes Feedback gegeben, mit dem man auch was anfangen kann. Es ist konstruktiv gewesen heute. Es war lustig heute. Ich hoffe, die Leute, die zugeschaut haben, hatten auch ein wenig ihren Spaß, auch wenn es bisweilen etwas idiosynkratisch war, aber trotzdem, ich denke, der Spaß war da.
Ja,
und zumindest auf unserer Seite. Und wenn wir Spaß haben, glaube ich, überträgt sich das auch auf die Runde nach draußen.
Ja, also so, was ich im Chat gesehen habe und die Leute auch kenne, war das, glaube ich, ein ganz cooler Abend heute. Hat mir auch sehr viel Spaß gemacht. Nochmal danke an alle vor und hinter der Kamera. Wir sehen uns gleich bei der Aftershow, wer Bock hat. Link habe ich euch sowohl in die Gruppe als auch hier nochmal gepostet. Und ich sage mal bis gleich und bleibt artig.
Nein.
Adios.
Ja, ciao.
Ja, ciao.